His team becomes so much better like overnight, though.
We're live.
Oh, we're there. All right.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
It is championship weekend.
Absolutely. And
For some people,
yeah. You want to go ahead and start off with your Homer minute, sir?
yeah,
Get this over
Let's
with?
get this over with.
All right. Get it done.
All right.
Wait,
so,
wait. Let me help you grease the wheels. You want to pay for your
Oh yeah, thanks.
bet real quick?
Actually, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
You're a good friend.
All right. So the bet here was I took Kelsey last week.
I
and-
took Goddard.
He took Goddard.
How did nobody stop me from doing that? He's an eagle,
Right?
Eagle.
and you bet him against Kelsey. I was very surprised.
Like I'd have bet on. Like I should have bet. It wouldn't have been any better, but I would have much rather bet on Kittle against my Cowboys than bet on Goddard. That was. I was really drunk last
Well,
week.
you were paying for a lot of the long-term bets last week, so
They're all paid off now.
Yeah, they are all paid off now, so you can have a little bit clearer head tonight.
So just the one right now. We'll
There
take
you
care
go.
of this one.
All right, and then we will let him speak about his Cowboys and their demise this weekend.
So, I almost had that block kick call right.
I forgot about that.
It was just the wrong team.
Yeah,
I feel like if I had been more vague in that call, I probably could have made a lot of fans. But no, I think we figured out that there are two games that you're going to get from Dak Prescott. It's damn Dak or dumb Dak, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
he's just I don't understand it. I've never. I've been watching him for 7 years now, and I've never seen another Cowboys quarterback who played this long that had so much of an effect on the game, like whether we won or lost. Because like Romo would get killed all the time for like making his one mistake of the game happen to be like when they needed him to not make a mistake. It's like, well, if you'd stopped him one of the 10 times,
just hold the snap.
yeah. No, but like, when he was losing games where it was like 43 to 36 and stuff like that, it was like, oh my God, Romo lost the game. No, he didn't.
He put 36 points on the
Yeah,
board,
he played with a lot of bad defenses. He never had a defense anywhere close to the one that Dak has had the last 2 years. And it's got like, I feel bad for the defense because they go out there and they ball out and they deserve to they deserve to win that game.
Do you think the Denver and Dallas defenses are going to go hang out in the offseason and just like commiserate about how bad their offenses were?
Trade you quarterbacks.
Those motherfuckers.
Hey, we'll flip you for quarterbacks or something, But
Let's go on a quarterback shooting spree.
So, yeah, when Dak took over in 2016, it was, he's supposed to be the future, right?
Yep.
He's supposed to take over. The reason he took over for Tony Romo, who was still very capable, and who knows, maybe Tony Romo continues to play and he gets hurt in that very playoff, in 2016. That could have happened, or, he could have got hurt again at the beginning of 2017. Who knows? We don't really know. We can speculate. But what I know for sure is that at the time that Tony Romo was a much better quarterback and much more capable of winning a championship than Dak has proven to be as of yet.
Right.
At that point.
Yeah,
so
we keep waiting for that leap, and
so I'm frustrated, like it's been a lot of years now of the Cowboys having really decent rosters, and if we could just stop making those bonehead plays, and have some consistency on offense now, which is crazy. It sounds crazy. Like maybe we could get somewhere. So yeah. Anyway, I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. I honestly don't even know. I know I was super excited when Dan Quinn said he was coming back. That's what I was probably the most worried about was Dan Quinn just leaving and then the defense kind of like taking a couple of steps back, you know. So now I don't feel like that's going to happen.
And then what about Pollard? What's the Pollard situation like?
So Tony Pollard is going to be fine come next season, you know?
Well, no,
it'll be curious to see if the injury causes his market value to drop.
Because he's a free agent, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't think so. I would imagine he's still going to get a bag from somebody. So I don't think he'll be back in Dallas next year. But him being injured in the last game of the year was probably the best chance they have of him returning. You know,
because of the injury, maybe they get him cheap.
like a 1-year deal or something like that. Because I can't imagine they'll, you know, and I'm not sure what they're going to do with Zeke's contract either. Because he's somebody who now they can cut, you know, like post June 1st, and spread the cap hit out, and it's not as bad. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, a lot of off-season choices to make there. So
Yeah.
all right, so all three of us have lost our teams for this year, but I dare say that the best 4 teams in the NFL this year have made it to the championship round.
And wouldn't you
really
know
think
it,
so.
we picked all 4 of these teams to be here at the beginning of the playoffs. How about that?
Yep. Let's see.
I mean, 2 of them are 1 seeds, so let's not like toot our own horns there. Like I mean,
and I felt bad picking.
Oh, wait a minute,
them at
that was
the
just
time.
you- that was just
no,
you guys that
And,
picked
and
those
at
guys.
the time I did it, I was like, man, I don't usually take the 2 number 1s. I don't want to do this, but they just seemed like the class. Now this week with Mahomes' injury, I do feel a little nervous
So
about that.
we're gonna break into that first. We're gonna talk about that game first, the Bengals game.
We ready? You ready, Ray?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
You want to give us a line? We have a line.
We're doing the whole line thing. Okay,
We
yeah.
don't have to.
No. I just thought you guys were gonna.
Well, and the line is a very interesting thing on this one this week because if I'm right, it started out Kansas City minus 2.5, 2.5 point favorites, and then as the
It should be shifting.
injury happened and everything, like all of a sudden
me,
it
and so-
got all the way to Cincinnati minus 2.5.
So to me, that's not the injury. To me, that's just smart football heads watching what's actually going on.
But now
so,
that
like,
that Mahomes has had some video, like showing him not really walking with a limp and this and that, now all of a sudden it's swung back the other way, and now Kansas City is back favored by 1 again.
I'll take Cincinnati. I mean,
So-
I'm already doing that, but like, so by 1, so it's like it doesn't.
What is it now, Ray?
So we're doing what game are we talking about?
Kansas City and Cincinnati.
Kansas is Cincinnati. Cincinnati's plus 1.5. The over, the under 48. Betting on Cincinnati. Plus 100. Betting on the Chiefs. Minus 120.
So since people have seen Mahomes walking around fairly normally, he's not on the injury report. People are feeling better, and now it's inching back up to that 2.5 favorite for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think that based on what Cincinnati just did to Buffalo in Buffalo,
And Kansas City earlier in the year. Wasn't that one in Kansas City too?
like they might dominate this game. Like I don't like.
It's a definite possibility. I don't just gotta. This game to me, like at work this week, I've been taking every bet I can on the other game. On this game, I don't want to take any bets because I'm just my heart says Kansas City. You know what I mean? I want Kansas City to win. I'm going to be rooting for Kansas City. I'd love to see, because Mahomes is this legendary, well, soon to be legendary, but this generational quarterback. You know what I mean?
If it wasn't for
wanna
that
see
damn
him do
Burrow
well.
guy that he can't beat,
And we'll see. Like these 2 guys are amazing.
because if he loses to him again, that's 4 in a row,
I agree.
including
That's a big
2
thing.
championship games.
And we saw how competitive Mahomes is. He definitely does not want that to happen, no
Burrow
matter
is
how many
too.
ankles he has.
Burrow is
no,
too.
it's going to be fantastic. So my heart is all about Kansas City winning. That's who I'm rooting for. If you made me bet my house on it,
I think
I'd probably go the Bengals. But I'm picking the Chiefs.
I think Burrow ends up with more Super Bowls than Mahomes.
Not on Bengals.
I'd bet on that, but that's too long a.
Even with the
It's
Bengals,
too long a bet.
I like it. He's changed that franchise, man.
No, I definitely agree with that. And
If he goes to the Super Bowl and wins it, I'll agree with you.
I mean,
you have to agree that he's changed the culture of
taking
that locker room
even
and
if,
that team, don't you think?
I think it's still too soon to tell.
taking the Cincinnati franchise. When was the last time the Cincinnati franchise went to back championship games?
I believe that would be 2022 and 23.
That'd be the only time, right?
I was like, huh?
It might be the only time that's ever happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like if it's happened before, it was,
It was
like
a long time
those
ago.
Ken Anderson '70s teams. You know.
You know, that
I love that you know a Bengal from the
the
70s.
head coach is
I wouldn't have been able to name one.
the head coach is from Sean McVay's tree, right?
I'm sorry.
The Bengals
Zach
coach?
Taylor?
Yeah, isn't he
is
from-
I don't. They
the
got
Sean-
hired same year, I think.
so he's not. He's not.
No,
a
I thought
protege.
I thought he did 1 year with McVay at least.
he?
I thought. I could be wrong.
I honestly don't know on
Wikipedia
that
him.
one.
ZAC.
Wikipedia is never wrong.
Never.
You see that story about that dude who was like slowly enlarging the state of Missouri
No.
on Wikipedia?
That's hilarious.
The long con, literally.
Since when is Missouri the largest state in the union?
And then he tweeted it out, and people snitched on him, and it got banned. Anyway, who am I looking up
Wait,
again?
So nobody was noticing it?
No.
And he's like, guys, are you seeing this? Look what I'm doing. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and then they snitched him out.
Maybe coaches from McVay's coaching tree
Zach
or
Taylor.
something.
Just
Zach
search-
Taylor?
Yeah, just
Okay.
search-
You think it'll come up?
It'll show his whole
Okay.
career. Yeah. That's it.
Wikipedia. Early college career, Nebraska.
Should show his coaching career, right?
Coaching, Los Angeles Rams,
What year?
2017.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he definitely spent a little time under McVay,
assistant wide receiver coach.
which is probably why he got a job, honestly, and he's done something with it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He drafted Joe Burrow.
Except that he's in my division. Bastard.
Yeah, sorry about that, buddy.
I know.
That guy's so good.
him and Burrow like teaming up
And then,
with
like,
Jamar Chase.
Jamar
now.
Chase
I'm
is
just
20.
like,
Jamar Chase is 22.
yeah. Well, and Burrow's what, 23, 24?
He's 26 actually.
Oh, is he?
He's older.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he was 23.
He's almost over the hill.
He was 23 when he was drafted, and 24 before he took a snap.
Okay.
what is this shot for? Losing DraftKings or something?
I'm
I'm just curious, or is it just a?
That was just a get us started shot.
just a love shot.
Yeah. Just hey, I brought some Hornitos.
So I like the Bengals this weekend because I feel like they're just the more complete team. The Chiefs they're doing it with Mahomes and Kelsey.
Well, I think both teams absolutely fall apart without their quarterback. So
I don't know. Well, sure,
I'm just saying.
But if you like both teams,
But are you
playing,
saying Cincinnati has more to work with
so?
around
Both
them?
teams,
I agree.
okay. Both teams playing without their quarterback. Who are you taking?
Cincy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
because
the-
they've got more players. They've got the Jamar Chase
By
that,
a lot.
that anybody can
when you
throw
really start to
to.
look at
Yeah.
it, it's by a lot.
Because only Mahomes can run that offense over there.
So it's like,
Of course, I say that, but then Henny looked really good. So who knows?
The Chiefs might have a positional advantage at quarterback. They might.
They definitely do.
I don't know if they definitely do. I
they-
don't think
yeah.
they definitely do. Like I feel like you're not watching the football games. You
Look
say
at the
that.
weapons. Look at the weapons, bro.
What?
Hold on. We've had this discussion all year long.
I said the Chiefs might have a positional advantage at quarterback.
And I'm saying they definitely have a positional advantage at quarterback. I don't think there's any doubt there.
Yeah, I think there's
Now
I think there
Burrow
is.
Burrow is absolutely closing that gap.
I think there's
every year
absolutely
he's
doubt there.
the last 2 years he's definitely closed that gap, but there's still a gap there. And
It's-
obviously
how
the
many
bookmakers
passing
think so,
yards
too.
gap?
Yeah.
How many passing yards gap are we speaking? We're talking
how
about
big of a gap is it?
And
100 yards,
Yeah,
150
and
yards.
I'm not even saying yards. I'm saying just game management. You know, like who.
But it equals yards.
Who is the better? No,
You mean like when they play each other?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not. When they play the game of football, like we have 17 games that we get to look at right now, and
I'm not trying to pile on, Brian. I wanted you to commit to something. That's all.
it's all good.
Yeah, we already know you. Like we already know you're picking the Chiefs. And I'm picking the Bengals. So,
I'm picking the Chiefs too.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yes,
all
You
right.
guys are like, I told him on the way here.
Well, I mean, our picks are right there.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love how this worked out actually because all of our teams that we picked at the beginning of the postseason are still involved, and it set up perfectly for me to be lone wolfing
Yep.
both games in the championship round against you guys.
And you will be. Yep.
So it feels great. It feels great.
I picked these two teams in mid-season.
Yeah. So the more I watch the Chiefs, though, the more I think that they're only where they're at because of Mahomes and Kelsey.
And Reed.
Well, yeah, and Andy Reid, but I mean, it's not just Andy Reid, because if Mahomes was out or Kelsey was out, I think either one of those players, I think that they are missing either one of those guys. They're a wild card round team. They would have got bounced last week.
Mahomes for sure. Kelsey probably.
He would have nowhere to go with the ball.
Yeah, because he's got no weapons but Kelsey right now. You're right.
I'm going
been my
Chiefs
point
based
all
on
year.
experience.
Yeah.
I'm going Chiefs.
And it got him this far, but I think this is where the road stops for Kansas City.
Okay.
I just don't think they're good enough right now.
That's funny. Yeah, no, my only hesitation about the Chiefs is the injury. You know what I mean? High ankle sprain is
Yeah,
a
that's
4 to
not
6
it for
week.
me.
That's a
That's-
4 to 6 week
I
injury.
wasn't even worried
and
about
he's
the
got
injury.
1 week.
I'm worried about what I see from the rest of the team, like that the Cincinnati.
You're taking away one of his weapons.
And the Cincinnati team, like they just went to Buffalo and won and like smashed the Bills.
Did they smash them?
Smashed
Yeah,
20.
they did.
Like 27-10, and it probably wasn't as close as the score.
And
showed.
it was in Buffalo,
Like,
and it didn't feel that close.
Like
Yeah.
their defense dominated that game, and that was the real big thing for me, because their defense has been playing really well.
Maybe the Bills just aren't as good as everyone thinks they are.
They definitely
faded.
fell off.
They faded. They had They had key injuries. They lost
Key
Von Miller.
injuries,
They
yeah.
lost Micah Hyde. Josh Allen's elbow. Remember, I said that at the beginning of the postseason. Like they lost Von Miller and Micah Hyde, who's an All-Pro safety, and I still would have picked the Bills if it hadn't been for the Josh Allen elbow injury. And I really do feel like that was.
When I was watching that Bills game, it felt like the Bills weren't doing anything.
Regardless,
Like
Josh
missing
Allen
targets. Just
Either
Josh
side of
Allen
the
was
ball,
playing
yeah.
at like
Dropping
80%,
passes.
85% of what he's actually capable of when he's healthy. Like he'll be back next year, he'll be fine. But it was just unfortunate. They just had an unlucky run at the end of the year. You know,
I think so too.
They'll be fine.
I mean,
They're a really good team.
They looked like a super team at the beginning of the year. The first 8 games of the year, they looked unstoppable.
Yes, I was
And
very
that-
happy with
that. Didn't
my-
go away. That
Yeah.
that was injuries. That was
Yep.
problems. And
They just
and
got
they'll be
they
back.
just kept getting like it was a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes.
You know? It
Yeah.
was every week they were having guys go down.
and Cincinnati got those cuts early in the year
And got all their guys
it
back.
over with, and now they're coming back
so
strong.
but their offensive line is a little beat up.
More than a little. Yeah, we should definitely talk about that.
That's the one point where I think Kansas City actually has a chance, is if Kansas City can get to Burrow. But it's like, but Burrow has been so good.
And that's what I'm
He's
saying.
just-
We talked
they
about
have-
that last
so
week.
They have to be
That's
able,
why I took the Bills' defense last week,
yeah.
is because they had no O line,
and it didn't
so
matter.
we're gonna get some sacks
it
for
didn't matter
sure.
because he just beat it. He just
Absolutely,
kept,
I was very impressed with Burrow.
he's
As
that
much
good.
as I don't want to be. Yeah,
he's really that good.
but Mahomes
he's
is
just-
better, so
yeah.
that's where you got to go with your
I don't
money.
think he's better. I
No,
just
he's
don't.
definitely
I
better
don't think
right
so.
now.
Dude. I
he
don't
is.
like.
Right
I don't.
now
I don't
he is.
like him better. Like so I've been on this for a long time. Like Mahomes to me is Brett Favre. If you're watching the Brett Favre, 20 years
Favre
in the
was
future,
never that good.
he was different.
Very.
But when Brett Favre came along, he did a lot of things that nobody had ever done before, and nobody could do because he had that cannon arm.
Right.
And it wasn't just the cannon arm; it was also the offense, because they were running that West Coast offense. That was Andy Reid's offense. Andy Reid was his offensive coordinator, and he did a lot of the same things that Mahomes does, where it's just like flip the ball to somebody while he's getting spun to the ground. Like that particular, the willingness to make that play, like throw the ball while being tackled,
Right.
just really, really, really reminds me of Brett Favre.
Okay, that aspect of the play, I can see
And
that.
he gets away with a lot of stuff, and he has that gunslinger mentality, and I just think that eventually the rest of the league is going to catch up with him. Like his skills will diminish just a little bit, and he'll still be very, very good, because like Brett Favre at the beginning of his career, nuclear, like 3 MVPs in 4 years. I think that was the number.
Okay.
I think he had 3 MVPs before he was 28. Like just like Mahomes. Like when he came onto the scene, it was like nothing we'd ever seen. He was going to blow away all the stuff that Dan Marino was doing at the time. He'd made all these other contemporary quarterbacks look like nothings. You know, he's thrown 38 touchdowns in a year when the leader was throwing like 25.
Right.
He just crushed numbers. And then what happened? Like he aged a little bit. Like
but you're
Brett Favre
talking
had
about
some personal
28,
problems.
29.
He ate, and
Mahomes
Mahomes
is
is 27.
He's okay. I thought he was 25, 26.
He's 27.
Okay.
Like this is his fifth straight AFC championship game. He's not a baby anymore already. Like, and so that's what I'm saying is like it's just around the corner. So, and I'm not saying he's going to be terrible. It's just that I don't think we're going to be looking at him the same way that we look at Brady at the end of his career, or that we look at Rodgers at the end of his career, that we look at like Breeze at the end of his career, whether they had become these surgeons that you just like, they're just not going to make a mistake. You just hope you get to them because they just didn't make enough mistakes for you to beat them.
And you think Mahomes makes a lot of mistakes?
Brett Favre. It's not that he even makes a lot of mistakes. He does a lot of things that could end up in mistakes, and he gets away with it a lot of the time.
Vast majority of the time.
And I think that at some point that's going to catch up with him the way that it did with Brett Favre. That's all I'm saying. Like, I think that here's my boldest prediction that I'll make about Patrick Mahomes. At some point in his career, in the next 5 years, he's going to lead the league in interceptions.
Wow. That is a bold prediction. Yeah, I'd definitely bet against that, but I don't want to make a 5-year bet.
It's just about like, I mean, and he'll only be 32 at the end of that time. So he'll still have plenty of time to play. It's just, and at the end of it's somewhere in that 5 years, Andy Reid's going to be gone.
Right.
Somewhere in the next 5 years, Andy Reid will be gone.
For sure. And that is,
that's when I think it will happen. Because you'll be just
all the best coaches out there will be dying to come play with Mahomes.
Sure.
I'm just saying. So I mean, Reid, you're going to take probably a step down from Reid, but I'm just saying it's not going to be a gigantic step. Like somebody really good at coaching.
Don't know that. They might just say, "Hey, we have Patrick Mahomes. Let's just hire a defensive coach." You never know what the organization's going to do.
You never know. I mean, stupid decisions do happen. You're right about that.
They happen a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure I'm trying to think of some of the Packers coaches after Mike Holmgren. Because
there was a carousel for a while.
And they weren't good.
Yeah.
And they kept giving Brett Favre these bum coaches. And so like I'm not saying that's going to happen to Mahomes, but what I do see is that I do see regression. Whereas like,
but
the way
3 years, 2 years, next year,
just because of the way that he plays, like I would say, I don't know.
But I mean, I think for the next 2 or 3 years, he's still
okay. I'll tell you what. If
league.
Somehow they win a Super Bowl this year, there's a good chance Andy Reid retires.
Okay.
Even though he's already got plans for brats in Germany next year. That's a quote. Someone asked him about Germany, and he's all, "Can't wait to have a brat."
Oh, because they play the Germany game next year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
they
that.
play.
I didn't know they knew that already.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think they already know that they play the Patriots in Germany next year.
Is that the only game that's been announced, or
no? They announced all the teams and where they're playing, but it was weird because I think they announced an odd number of teams, but one of them was Jacksonville, so I think Jacksonville might have 2 overseas games next year.
They like those.
They love Jacksonville over there.
Yeah, well, it's because they keep going over there.
Jaguars.
Every year they go over there,
So we've talked about this game a lot. Obviously, I love Joe Burrow. I'm not ready to say he's a better quarterback in the league right now than Patrick Mahomes. But me personally, if I was drafting a team, I would take Joe Burrow.
Okay. I can understand the reasoning. I definitely disagree, but I don't think that's out there too far. Dude, Burrow has proved himself to be majorly good.
So check this out. I think that Andy Reid is exponentially more responsible for what Mahomes does than Zach Taylor for Joe Burrow. Like, I think if you
Okay.
remove Zach, like if you like
I get you.
look what Zach Taylor did in his first couple of years. He was lucky not to get fired before Joe Burrow came around. Like I think they started 0-10 plus in his first 2 years. Like we'd have to check that, but I'm pretty sure.
They're Bengals. That makes sense.
Yeah, you're used to that. Yeah, you're not going to question that. You've seen it a lot.
Count on it.
But I think you remove Joe Burrow from the Bengals, and like they're already on another coach. So like
For sure.
let's say they have a good run. Zach Taylor moves on from Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will be more successful than Zach Taylor. Like, whereas I think if Andy Reid decided to like, if he won the Super Bowl this year and then he decided to go, I don't know, like some project, maybe he wants to go save the Bears, you know? I don't know.
He wants to retire and draw mustaches on people.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I like that commercial. I laugh every time I see
do
it. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. He's got a career in acting.
Yeah, it does make me giggle.
Yeah. So, what I was gonna say is, I think that if Andy Reid wanted to like go to another organization, he could have another organization playing in a championship game from the dirt in the next 5 years.
Probably sooner than that.
I would bet on him to get back to a championship game before Mahomes.
What's up, Off Grid? Welcome back.
Yeah, I don't know about
if
that
they were
one.
to split.
Yeah, that's out there a little bit.
That's what I see because just because of the way, like, look at how the minor mistakes, just making a couple of mistakes costs you games. Look at what happened just last weekend to Dak.
For sure.
Right? It was two mistakes that maybe 3 mistakes that he made. And because of that, it was a horrible game. And it was because when you at that point you have to play like flawless football. Like where we're at in the league today, like you can't turn the ball over anymore because like the way that all the rules are set up, like the offenses are too good. You cannot turn the ball over and give your opponents short fields. And that's what I see happening in his future. I see more turnovers. And turnover, and when you turn the ball over more, your team just has less success.
All right. I'm looking forward to our bets next year.
Whenever Andy Reid retires,
Oh, okay.
that'll be the explosive year because I'll be betting against Mahomes a lot that year.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, so we're all on record, right? You guys got the Chiefs, I got the Bengals,
Yes, sir. Now we can move on to our NFC.
and I think it's gonna be under. By the way, it's 48
that one's
points.
under?
I think it'll stay under.
Yeah.
and it's one of those weird games. Like it seems like it should be over. You know what I mean? We've got these two amazing offenses. It definitely seems and feels like it should be over. But Vegas is like.
I thought a lot
not
of
so
those
much.
games should have been over. I thought that the Cowboys Niners game should have been
The
over.
Cincinnati defense.
It was just
is-
like, wait.
You felt like it was going to be, yeah.
the Cincinnati defense is really playing good football. Really, they've been playing really good football for like 6 weeks now.
But Patrick Mahomes can throw with both hands. All right. So next up,
He's ambidextrous.
Niners at the Eagles. Niners are at plus 2.5. The over-under is at 46. If you're betting on the Niners, the money line's plus 130. If you're betting on the Eagles, minus 150.
What was the over under? 46.
46.
This is the
23.
one. This is the one that'll go over.
This is your over game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think both offenses are actually too good to be stopped by the other defenses. Like that.
So
you don't
you don't think Brock Purdy's going to have some issues against this defense?
I don't. And the reason that I don't is because the 49ers offense doesn't test you outside. Everything like when they're throwing the ball outside, they're like bubble screens. They're not throwing long outs.
So they're not going towards the Eagles' strengths, is what you're saying in the cornerbacks.
Exactly. So and the Eagles are very weak in the middle of the defense. And actually, what I checked the injury report and I didn't see. I think his name is Jamin Davis, the big rookie defensive tackle for the Eagles. But the Eagles are like 1.5 yards per carry worse when he's not on the field. And I know he's been hurt.
I remember hearing something this morning. I don't remember the names, so I'm not real great with some of the names, especially the defensive names that I don't recognize. But I know that they were saying that the 3 interior linemen that that they were worried about
Philly?
for Philly were
all
all
going to
healthy
play.
and playing.
Yeah,
So
they're all going to play.
I think they're all playing.
Yeah, I just we'll see how much he plays. That's what I would watch out for. The first thing I'm going to watch for in this game is going to be on first and second down. The 49ers have the ball to see if he's on the field. Because if he's not on the field, the 49ers are going to be able to run the football. And when the 49ers are able to run the football, God help you. Because it's just they have so many weapons.
But they
and
also brought in Ndamukong Suh and one other
I don't
big
care
guy
about that.
Well, they improved their
so
yards per carry by a lot.
the guy on their defensive line that causes problems is Josh Sweat. That guy has been a monster, just an absolute monster. He was everywhere last Saturday night, and he had like an all-pro season. He was really good. I don't really worry
Is
about
he a run stopper? Or?
No, he's a pass rusher.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is these two guys are the run stoppers
Yeah,
that they brought in,
well,
and their
and
defense got
Ndamukong
so
Suh's
much
35
better.
now. I just,
But he can stop the run. He can clog up the middle, and that's
that's
what they
not
need.
that's not. But the 49ers aren't like push you back running offense.
I've been surprised at how much they run McCaffrey up the middle rather than giving it to him on the edges. Honestly, that has really shocked me because I thought that's where
They
McCaffrey's
run
strength was.
up the middle a lot, but a lot of it is counter action. So a lot of the times,
Agreed.
he's running
yeah,
behind.
with distractions, and I
Yes.
totally agree with that. But they're still going up the middle with him. Where I just like getting McCaffrey on the outside. Just that's where it's at.
But you know what it is? Like what I've noticed is, and it was I don't know if you listened to the footballers this week. They're doing their truth episodes. They're talking about the running backs, and they did the splits from McCaffrey with and without Eli Mitchell.
Yeah. I was listening to that.
And that was pretty eye opening. And
I think there were a couple other factors involved there, so they're not straight facts. But yeah, I agree.
To
with
me,
something.
to me personally, it wasn't at all surprising because when you watch on the field, Mitchell is a faster running back. Like he is much faster than Christian McCaffrey, and so I think the reason that they send him up the middle a lot is because they don't want him to try and gain the edge, and that's the Shanahan running schemes, the zone blocking schemes. They're not designed to go wide.
Outside, yeah.
They're designed to go up and cut. Like
Hey, I know I'm cutting in here, but what'd you think of that last Cowboys play, man? We didn't touch that.
Out of nowhere, I love it.
I'll tell you what I think about it.
As you're pouring the salt, I love
If
that.
Dak throws that ball to CeeDee Lamb instead of Kevontae Turpin, and the Cowboys start a wall, they actually might have had a chance. Because the way the 49ers defense was set up, they might have actually had a chance. But he throws it right up the middle of the field and to the lightest, you could just, he didn't even get hit that hard. It's just, that's how small that guy is. 160 pounds.
Right.
So, water cooler talk.
Why would you give him the ball first? You want him to have the ball last, don't you?
So,
Right?
here's some water cooler talk that we were doing at work, and one of the thoughts was they were trying to recreate that Randy Moss lateral play, right, where he catches it and then tosses it back to the person running next to him. Old play, Randy Moss in Vikings gets thrown the ball.
I think I know what play you're talking about.
Now-
He throws it to Robert Smith, but it was like,
Hold on.
It's called a hook and ladder.
So what happened was the thought was Ezekiel Elliott wasn't supposed to get ran over that way. He was supposed to kind of like chip off
And
and
run
be
up.
ready for that lateral, but he ended up just getting ran over.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, plant him because you're not going to get to the quarterback.
Right.
It was a heads up defensive play by who was the defensive lineman that knocked him over.
I don't know, but that was funny.
Yeah, it
He
was
was like,
funny.
nope.
Yeah. Yeah, the 49ers are a really smart football team. So,
Especially that D.
like the
They're good at what they do.
The Cowboys just screwed themselves by turning the ball over too much. But
Oh, the internet had a field day with that too, man. So many like memes and vemes that were created from.
And I guess Dak broke up with his girlfriend. So like
I saw that too.
So everyone's saying his girlfriend dumped him.
That is.
I
funny.
read a report that the Cowboys dropped Dak, but I didn't look into the validity of it.
Nah,
No.
you can't do that. Quarterbacks
Somebody
are too
starting
valuable.
a meme or something. Yeah.
Yeah, as ridiculous as it is, quarterbacks are too valuable. He's still a top 12 quarterback, somewhere around there, right?
He's still top 15. He's still top 50% of the
He's
league.
still top 16.
You know?
He's still top 18. Still top 20.
I don't know. It's probably
Move your camera back a little bit.
I'd rather have him than Stafford.
Nah. Nope. Stafford's a Super Bowl quarterback.
With McVay, he is.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's some truth to that.
Without McVay, he's pretty much what he did this last year.
He's a quarterback with the most comebacks in the fourth quarter without McVay. So
If they're the same age, I definitely take Stafford.
because he was playing for the Lions and they were losing every week.
that's true. That puts you in a certain kind of like.
I definitely
Field.
take Stafford there, like if they're the same age. But with this age gap, I might
Stafford
take
and Dak?
Yeah, isn't Stafford like 36?
Stafford, 34, 35, something like that. Something like that.
He's getting up there. Yeah.
Going into next season, I'd want Stafford over Dak.
Yes, I'd want him next season, but maybe not the season after.
Yeah, we could talk about that next season.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think Stafford has one more good year with that arm and everything. But I like, is he going to play again after next year? Is next year his swan song? I don't know. It might be.
We'll have to wait and see.
They're going to make one more Super Bowl run.
All the talk about Sean McVay retiring, and then he was just like, no, that's not true. Like, he just kind of squashed it all right away. Makes me feel like he knows he has to do a rebuild. Like, he's got to be, like, fully responsible for a team from start to finish. Not like, I inherited this, and he's got to grow out of the inherited picks and downside of losing all the picks and all that, this, that, and the other before he can really live with himself from walking away, so that's what I think.
He's the head coach in L.A., one of the biggest markets in the country. I mean, why would he leave?
You know what? And I often wonder. I wonder if some of his broadcasting deals kind of went away after that season.
You think so?
You know what I mean? So he was like, I better come back and have a really good season before taking
maybe,
a broadcast
maybe.
deal.
Seems like
I mean,
he's
they
got a
might have
big
still
name, but
been there, but I don't think they
maybe
were
not the
probably
big
offering
numbers.
him as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because all these people that get offered the big numbers to come, do analysis and stuff, like Sean Payton. Oh yeah, he's got this big TV deal. I'm like, I never see Sean Payton on TV, and when I do, I'm like, what? This guy sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
Like,
okay.
He's not a good analyst.
Yeah,
He's a
no.
great coach, obviously, but he's not a good analyst
Yeah,
I saw him for
not-
the first
not
time
very
the other day.
charismatic on screen.
at all. Like he doesn't belong on screen.
The best time he was on
he
screen.
he needs Kevin James to go on.
I was
TV
gonna
for him.
the best time I seen him on screen was when Kevin James was playing him.
There you go.
Because it's funny because Kevin James he humanized him, and made him this almost likable character, and then you watch him on TV, it's like, oh yeah, you're not Kevin James at all.
I wonder if he really does have that high school trophy in his office.
Probably does.
So what now? Should we move on to DraftKings or what?
Well, actually, we kind of were in the middle of the San Francisco and Eagle game here. We made our picks, obviously, but we didn't get a chance to talk about the game much.
We started to talk about the running game for the 49ers. I think that's going to be the most important thing in the game. I think
Is the Niner running game?
yes, because I think that the Eagles are going to be able to get enough done that they like I said, I think it's going to hit the over, but I don't think anybody wins by more than 4 points. So I think this is like a 27-23, 28-24.
And maybe I'm crazy here, but I think this is like 31-17 Eagles. I think this.
You're crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
The 49ers won't lose to anybody by 14 points. You're fucking crazy.
Oh, put it on the board.
You're crazy. This 49ers team cannot lose by 14 points. It's not possible. That's insane.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Like I'm telling you, I really expect the Eagles to show that they are the class. I expect Brock Purdy
How many?
to.
No, like you just said, you just said that. So how many points?
14.
How many points are you willing to drink on?
Well,
How many points
the
are you willing to
line is-
Bowmore
The
on?
line is like 2.5.
I know,
man.
but you're the
Like,
one that said it.
Are you
said-
gonna give me odds? Like
Huh?
you're 2 shots to my 1?
Oh, that sounds fun.
I mean, we
How
got to
many-
do that.
depends on
If
points.
I'm giving
How-
like double-digit points, I mean,
If you're giving me double-digit points,
I'll go 10 points, 2-1. All right, let's do it.
Put it on the board. that feels like stealing.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, so the way both of these quarterbacks have played so far, I don't expect either of them to make like terrible mistakes. But I would still like if
I would expect one terrible mistake
It,
out
I,
of this
I
game.
think it's going to come from Jalen Hurts. But I don't think it's going to be a terrible mistake. Those 49ers linebackers are just so good. So
Can I put one more bet on the board then?
Like I feel like
What is it?
I think Jalen Hurts will have more than 75 yards rushing.
I'll take that.
All right.
Not 2-1.
nope, that's an even bet.
But I'll take that one too. I say he will have under 75 yards rushing. And if he has exactly 75 yards rushing, Ray has to take a shot.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. I'll do that.
Now I'm kind of rooting for 75.
All right, some bets. I love it.
Yes.
Always feels better when we have a couple of bets on the board for the week, you know?
Yeah, unless you're betting on Dallas Goddard.
Well, see, that's why I love betting shots, because it's just like our little way of calling bullshit on the
Yeah.
other person. You know, like, bullshit, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know it's not going to happen. Let's put it on the board. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love to have that way of calling BS on somebody. So, you know, and having it called on me. You know, we need to be able to do that. Needs to happen more in life, honestly.
Do we have something on the line for our picks? I almost feel like we should have something on the line for our picks.
I think that Joe Burrow is going to throw 3 touchdown passes.
Ooh, okay.
Honestly, dude, I
think
I'll
all
take
of
the
those
under.
quarterbacks
I'll
can
take
do
the
that.
I really think the Bengals are going to light up the Chiefs.
you
Like
want
the way that you have that feeling.
to do the same bet?
The way that you have that feeling
Uh-huh.
about the Eagles, like you just feel really good about what they're doing.
They're going to win by 10?
That's how I feel about the Bengals right now.
I'll give
I
you
feel,
2-1.
I feel like they're just like machine-like, and like they're so confident against this team.
You want to put it on the board? 2-1 by 10?
I could get so drunk on this.
Yeah, we'll probably have to calm down on the bets after this, but let's put that one on the board.
Let's do it.
All right, I like that.
I am that confident in the Bengals. I am. I like that we're that confident against each other's teams right now, because someone's going to be stupid wrong.
Hopefully, it's the person not driving next.
You know what? That's funny.
That, like when you had to drink, I
Yeah, he did. He did. When he knew he was a good guy. When he knew I was going to have to drink a lot, he drove. That's funny. The really funny thing is a lot of times we do this, and I like that statement I just made. It could also be true in other scenarios, and then somehow wacky things happen, and we end up like splitting the difference, on shots. So I'm really curious now. Like we've got these bets on the board to see what actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, were we putting the Burrow bet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put Burrow up
Yeah,
there
yeah.
too.
What was the Burrow bet?
Three touchdowns.
Okay.
And so this one, we're not going to be here next week. Is that right?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because next week is the off week before the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So
Vacation week.
so these ones will have. That's a good thing you're putting all this stuff down. Oh, this is going to be a good weekend. This is going to be a fun weekend of football.
You know what? This Sunday was my youngest's birthday, so I couldn't have done anything anyway.
Oh, this upcoming
that whole
one?
Sunday was like.
Or the next one?
No, this one that just passed.
Oh, okay.
Because you had mentioned, hey, let's get together, and I was just like, there's something going on. Like,
There's some reason I can't.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I
is
got my daughter's birthday next weekend. Then we're going on vacation for a few days. So
Oh, okay.
we got big plans. We're having fun.
Sounds like it.
All right, so back to this game that we never really talked about.
I need to.
Well,
be
we
here. Why don't
did.
you guys talk
Oh, yeah,
to
you
me?
got it.
We have been talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, we keep getting interrupted by bets or
Oh, damn it.
tangents or
Bets and tangents.
I guess that is the podcast, but let's see. Why do I really like Philly here? I think the Eagles have really just been putting it together when they're healthy and Jalen Hurts is in there. Like there hasn't been a game where they look bad this year, and they just look like the class right now.
They had a really soft schedule. They played
They've been a very boring, productive
There
team.
were almost 4 teams from the NFC East this year in the playoffs.
But the teams that they were supposed to beat, they put away at halftime. Almost
But
every time.
they almost lost the
Over
Colts.
and over.
They allowed the Texans to play with them.
Wasn't
all
that
the way,
when
the fourth
when Hurts
quarter?
was hurt?
No.
The
They should have lost to the Colts, but the Colts missed a field goal, and then the Eagles drove the ball. They were down 6, and drove the ball down all the way in like the last 2 minutes, and they'd been inept all day long, but put it together in that last drive. Against
How
the
long ago
Colts.
was this?
This was November.
Okay.
So they had enough moments. I'm not just an Eagles hater. Like to me, they had enough moments where I was like, I just don't like. I'm not ready to buy in to this team yet, and it really is about Jalen Hurts, because he does struggle at times, and the 49ers have the type of defense that can cause him to struggle. So one of the outcomes to me in this game, based on how dominant they were against the Giants and how confident he looked against the Giants, I really can't see him coming out and just like flopping.
Right.
But it wouldn't entirely surprise me if he was ineffective, because he hasn't been pressured all year long.
Okay, but to flip that around, like the last 2 games for Brock Purdy, there's been 1.5 of those games where he has not looked very good.
He was great against Dallas the whole game, but it looked like he had a little bit of nerves at the beginning of the Seattle game. But since halftime of that Seattle game, he's been cooking.
I wouldn't say cooking.
You should, because
I wouldn't agree with cooking.
have you seen his numbers? Have you seen his numbers compared to Jalen Hurts' numbers?
Cooking.
Oh,
Jalen Hurts has only
It's
had
actually
one-
really good.
But
What was
So-
last
so
week's?
just-
what
so
was
if you
last
just-
week's? Just comparing last week's numbers.
I'm not sure about last week's numbers, but that's not
Hurts
not really fair, because Jalen Hurts played at home against the Giants, a team that
They're playing at home again.
they were playing, and then Purdy was playing against the Cowboys, who were a top 2, top 3 defense in the league.
Yeah, but they're still owned by Jerry Jones.
and and they could only put up 19 points too.
I know, I agree with that, but he didn't make any mistakes. He didn't turn the ball over.
But
That's the key thing.
But
in a
there
game,
might be a time
in a game,
versus the Eagles where it's on Purdy's shoulders to win the game. And can he do that against that Philly defense? And that's what I'm betting. That's what I'm betting against. That's where I think he falls apart. At the beginning of the playoffs, I predicted that at some point,
And see, to me-
Purdy's going to start hitting that wall.
And I
feel like he's started to hit that wall. And now that against Philly, it's really going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Obviously. Let's see. Is there anything else?
I watched him last week, hoping he was going to make mistakes, and he wasn't. He was an absolute professional quarterback back there last week. Like the Cowboys, the one time that he got unlucky and a ball got deflected, Trayvon Diggs dropped it, and that was the only. Right. And he didn't.
But
that wasn't even his fault. That was the only opportunity he gave the Cowboys all day to take the ball.
How long during that game was he down by 7 or more?
Never.
Exactly.
But I mean, that doesn't. I don't think. I'm not
that's,
sure. I'm not
it's
sure.
going to happen in the Eagle game.
Sure.
And
I'm not
can he come back from that? I don't know. This is a guy that he's very good at playing not to lose, is what I feel like. And dude, that's what he needs to do. But we're getting to the point in the championship game in the Super Bowl where you have to do more than that. You have to be able to take the game on your shoulders. And I think Hurts has the experience and the ability to do that. And I think Purdy doesn't quite he doesn't at this time. He's just not there talent-wise. Now, that's not to knock Purdy and what he's done so far. He's been amazing for a rookie, especially as late as he was drafted. And like, he is a fantastic story, and I'm not putting anything against him. And dude, I hope the dude does well in the NFL. But like, is he ready for the big time right now?
I hope he has a
Not
sophomore
quite.
slump. Fuck that guy.
There you go. From a true Rams fan.
Purdy's never lost, bro.
Yeah, never will, right? He's the best in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, big cock Brock.
Big God, Brock.
You know what's funny is they actually allowed those signs in the stadium.
They allowed them.
I was almost kind of feel like they make them.
People drew chickens.
Right. Yeah.
So
that was going to be my next.
I almost feel like they make those signs in the stadium. Like,
They might.
yeah. Because some of those seem like really dialed into the game itself.
It's funny. Some people are really artistically talented, you know.
Related joke from earlier in the week. My manager during our pre-shift meeting says something about can you pass that cock sauce over here? Oh, and everyone just looks at him like, what the frick are you talking about?
Was he talking about sriracha?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, gotcha. Yeah, don't say that at work, bro. You're going to go to HR.
Hey, pass the cock sauce. Where's the tequila?
Oh, lagging, I guess.
Speaking of cock sauce.
That manager of yours really flirted with that line, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
How old is he?
40.
Youngsters.
Well, I was just saying, because if he was a little bit older, it could have probably been passed away or passed as like old lingo, old verbiage. You know what I mean? But
It's a good environment. You know, he's pretty safe where we were, but still, don't recommend it for everybody at work.
I do.
I want to see the chaos. Let me see it.
Yeah.
So, as far as the game goes, is there anything else, Eagles, San Francisco, we've missed here? I think Devo has a good chance to be a pretty decent part of the game plan here.
Let's just let's talk about Devontae Smith for a minute. And
Okay.
cheers to that man. Man, that guy is awesome. I wish he was a Cowboy.
He's had a hell of a season, I tell you what. Like, he's really proven himself to be something, especially the second half of the season. The kind of numbers that he's been able to put up to compare with AJ Brown, like it was a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2 at the beginning of the year, and a good wide receiver 2. But now it's a 1A and 1B, and they're both great. Like,
oh man, I love hearing you talk like this because you were talking so much shit early in the season.
Yes, I was. Like he has changed my his play.
And you know who told him about Devontae Smith? This guy.
And he has.
I tried so hard
definitely
to get him in Dynasty, dude.
Definitely turned things around.
I tried so hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to offer a first, and I wish I had been. Because he's worth at least a first in Dynasty.
Close. It depends on where that first is. If it's a top three first.
22.
No, dude, I agree. But if it's a top 3 first, maybe. Not a 101.
I think he's gonna.
What's his name? Bijan.
So
is that the one that's coming out this year?
So here's the thing.
Like, I think I'd rather have Bijan.
Would you rather have him or AJ Brown?
Devontae Smith or AJ Brown?
Not Devontae Smith or AJ Brown. Like, would you rather have Bijan or AJ Brown?
Oh, how old is AJ?
25.
Is he really? I'd take AJ.
And see, that's why I say you should take Devontae Smith over Bijan, because I think that rest of their careers, Devontae Smith is a more productive receiver than AJ Brown.
And you see that AJ's been getting the number 1 coverage. I mean, he dominated at the beginning of the year. Everybody shifted coverage towards him, and that's why Devontae was getting so open and having so much. Like, he is one of the best number 2s in the league.
Devontae Smith came on towards the end of the year, but they move their guys around a lot. So in order to a lot of number 1 guys will only play on one side of the field. Like Hopkins doesn't move a whole bunch. DK Metcalf never moves at all.
Okay.
They only play they play their side of the field, so locking them down is a little easier. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are all over the place. Like they move them. They'll play them in the slot. They'll play Devontae Smith in the backfield. Mm-hmm. He's just a very. You know who he reminds me of? Antonio.
Yeah.
Because the way that he can go up and get the ball, because he's only 6 foot. But he plays like a guy who's like 6'3", and that was the thing about AB when he was in his prime, was he's 5'10", like 5'10", 190 or something like that. But he played like he was 6'2", 225.
Well, and nobody could run a route like him.
No, and that's the other part.
Yeah.
Is that reminds me of Antonio Brown, is his route running. Like, he just gets so much separation. He's just always open. It's crazy. So a guy that gets that open and wins 50-50 balls. And AJ Brown has had injury issues. Like, he was banged up at the end of this year too. This was his healthiest season so far. So that's where I'm at, is Devontae Smith has 2 full seasons. He's just trending upward, and the things that he's been able to do while being a number 2 behind AJ Brown. It just
there's something to be said about not getting the focus put on you. You know what I mean? The focus is on AJ Brown first and Smith second.
Sure, I don't disagree with that.
And so I mean that is a difference. And so
I don't disagree with that.
When and if that's reversed, and Smith is taking the number 1 focus,
but I think
will
he's good
that
enough.
change?
I think he's good enough.
I'm just saying we don't have the proof yet, and you might be right, but. But it's not proven yet. Whereas AJ is proven.
From what I see, he shows everything. He just shows everything that you want. He's he runs. He runs all the routes.
Yeah.
He can go up and get the ball. If he gets a step on you, he's gone. You're not going to catch him. You're not catching him from behind. He has it all. I'm a big fan.
No, all right, and that's why the Eagles are going to win. So,
hey, if they do, it's because Devontae Smith scores twice.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. Anything else we need to go over in this game before we move on, or
is it DraftKings time?
I'm thinking. I'm trying to think if there's anything we're missing in this game, but I think we're good.
I think we hit it all.
Yeah.
We didn't mention Nick Bosa. That's unfair because he's having the Defensive Player of the Year season. So,
yeah.
And he's a big part of why I think the 49ers are going to win. Is because I think the 49ers are going to be able to get to Jalen Hurts without blitzing him. And that's why I think the 49ers linebackers are going to be the difference in the game, because I think they're going to be the ones to take the ball away.
If they can get to him in 4 consistently, that will be a problem.
Yeah, I think they will.
Because if it takes 5 or more, then Jalen Hurts is going to be able to run all over him.
The Eagles' offensive line is weak, is on the edges.
All right. I like it. I like that we have some big disparaging differences on these.
I do
fun.
too. This
Yeah.
is great. This worked out perfectly. Like it,
I like
really,
it.
it really,
Yeah.
really did. There was like the playoff starts out with 14 teams, and here we are in championship team, and all of our picks are still alive, and we're battling each other for the Super Bowl. It's beautiful.
Works out good.
It's
I love
great.
it.
So, are we ready to do the DraftKings?
I think so.
Yeah.
Should I lead off since
Sure.
I'm leading the way?
Oh, jeez.
Honestly, we
He
can't
won-
catch up at this point.
He
I
won
don't
2
think.
playoffs in a row. And
Yeah, so
he's,
you're up. Like
I-
even if you lose, you still won the DraftKings.
I am the champ.
Yeah.
So you guys need to take the drinks.
Whatever.
Yeah,
We
I
still
could-
got the season total there coming up. I season total. I can still beat you.
yeah, you're
You're,
barely.
you're
behind.
only ahead by 0.6 or 0.58.
That's the average, right?
This is the average.
Oh,
and you
sorry.
got the total above it.
What's the total?
26-32, 26-20.
You're ahead by 12.
Well, all right, I got a lead, baby.
11.7.
Yeah, I love. This is great. That's
Yeah, we have been very close on everything, our bets, and it's been fun. It's been a fun year.
It's been a lot of fun. It's so not just that, like because they've been close and that makes it fun, but also like we've been good. Like they had, like it hasn't been just like we're clowning around and
Right.
middling around in the retard pool or something like that. Excuse
been
me,
actual good
excuse me if I
predictions,
offended
yeah.
somebody and got us like
You got the 5 words you can.
yeah. I must apologize to you. That was a side joke from earlier, guys. Sorry. No, but it has been a lot of fun because we've been doing well, with picks and stuff like that, and for it to be so competitive and it going back and forth every week, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great season.
Absolutely.
It's been a really great season.
Really enjoyed it.
So, the final winning lineup for DraftKings, I'm going to lead off with Joe Burrow at quarterback,
Makes sense.
$6,800, and I'm going to pair him with Jamar Chase. But at running back, I'm going to pay up, and I'm going to play Christian McCaffrey for
okay.
$8,000.
Yep.
I'm
All
gonna
right, so you just spent all your cash.
I'm
now
gonna,
what?
I'm going to save some money, and I'm going to play Samaje Perine at $4,500.
Okay, the backup.
Okay.
Got it.
He's the pass catching back.
No,
They like him.
he's the backup in Cincy, but yeah, I mean,
They love him.
He's getting enough points to where
And he
I
looks
like
better
him.
than mixing with the ball in his hand. Just saying.
I was toying with him.
So a wide receiver, we've got Jamar Chase at $7,600. At $3,000, I'm going to play Sky Moore.
Okay,
That's my dart throw for the weekend.
that's definitely a dart throw.
And for anybody who doesn't know, there is a Sky Moore package every week that Andy Reid deploys. Every single week. Like, he's like my favorite player to trade for in Dynasty.
Really?
Because I really think he's just going to explode next year. I do. I really do. I think they're going to clear the way of all, like they signed all these guys to 1-year contracts. And I think Andy Reid really likes Kadarius Toney.
I agree with that.
And Sky Moore.
See, I just haven't seen the
Sky,
results from Sky Moore,
that's because he was a cornerback in college. He's not a tradition. Like they told him, they're like,
so
hey,
when they brought him in, he was a multi-year project. They're like,
yes,
I see. So,
yes,
okay.
The thing about him is his measurables. He was off the chart. I think he runs a 4.3 40, something like that. He's super fast, super quick. It was just going to take some time to teach him how to play the position, but he's a natural ball handler. Like when you watch him with the ball in his hand, and I think that's why they wanted him. They probably convinced him to switch to offense because he's very good with his hands, and a lot of cornerbacks aren't. That's like the difference between. That's like the reason they play corner and not wide receiver is because they can't catch. Anyway, I'm spending a lot of time talking about this $3,000 purchase on DraftKings because I do feel so strongly, like after watching the Chiefs play week in and week out, that like one of these weeks he's gonna just like
Be amazing. Okay.
he's gonna hit it and he's gonna score. Like he's gonna score. Maybe that'll be next year though. And then my third wide receiver is the aforementioned Devontae Smith at $6,800.
Makes sense.
Tight end, I've got my boy George Kittle at $5,200. Like,
All right.
He's like my favorite player in football right now. I got Josh Allen and George Kittle.
He is
They
fun.
should be on the same team.
They are great football players that have amazing energy. They're fun to watch.
They should be on the same team.
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah.
How fun would that be?
Agreed.
And then in my flex at $5,700, Deebo Samuel.
57? I thought it was 59.
$5,700 this week. And then all the defenses are a punt this week. So I'm going to roll with the one that I think is playing really hot right now and has the best matchup, and that's the Bengals. $2,300.
All right. I'll go ahead and go next.
Who dey?
All right. I went with Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. So, I mean, I think, Burrow, Hurts, I think that makes sense. Both bets on the board there. It makes sense.
Synergy.
Let's see. Running back, I am going to go for Ray's boy over here. Jerick McKinnon. Absolutely. That's Ray's man, dude. Like, he's been riding McKinnon.
He's probably on his team right now.
Actually, he's not. But go ahead.
What?
No.
Like, I would have bet on that.
He's not.
All right.
I wish we'd gotten him to bet on that.
The other running back I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Joe Mixon. I'm going to go a little contrarian here. I think that the running game might be deceptively useful for the Bengals here. A.J. Brown is my wide receiver of choice there, along with Deebo Samuel, and punting a little bit with Kadarius Toney. Toney is only $3,700, so
He's
700.
super cheap.
Yeah, he's only 700 more than Sky Moore, and I think he's definitely going to touch the ball more.
I believe he was second in targets behind Kelsey last week.
Yes,
right?
he was.
Yes.
So for 3,700, he seems like a steal there.
Oh yeah, I'd much rather play Kadarius Toney than any of I played Sky Moore because I couldn't afford to get
yes.
to Kadarius Toney, but I would much rather play Kadarius Toney.
And I went with Travis Kelce at tight end because how could you
Who's
not?
that?
How could you not? And then
I tried, brother.
at flex, it just seems like you should go for another tight end here. It just seems like they've got value.
Kittle.
I went Goddard.
You went Goddard?
Goddard
Against those 49ers linebackers?
Yes, who are only 10th. They're not top of the pack versus tight ends. They're middle of the pack. Yeah. So and Goddard's going to get 7 to 8 targets for sure.
They did a really good job
at
on
4,100.
They did a really
7
good
to 8
job
targets?
on Dalton Schultz last week.
Well, that's the difference between Schultz and Goddard. I mean, no offense, but
Dalton Schultz paid more.
Okay, that shocks me because Goddard is a way more useful tight end.
Dalton Schultz had a better year.
Only because Goddard was gone for 4 games, 6 games? No, he's like 6 or 8 games. 6 games.
Dalton Schultz missed his quarterback for 5 games. I'm just gonna keep doing this.
That's not the same as being out for 6 games.
Sometimes it is. His backup quarterback was Cooper Rush. The only guy he could throw to during that time was C.D. Lamb.
5-1 Cooper Rush.
Yeah, not throwing the ball. And I swear to God, I think the Cowboys might have won with Cooper Rush if he'd started.
And it's hard for most people, I think, to understand that, but it's not that Cooper Rush is a better quarterback than Dak.
It's not.
It's that the game plan is completely different, and I think that run first, rely on your defense game plan, if they had really gone with that,
that's how they were built this year.
I think it might have had a different outcome,
this wasn't like the Cowboys from 2 years ago where they're just flinging the ball all over the place during C.D. Lamb's rookie year, and Dak was on pace for 7,000 yards or whatever it was before he got hurt. They're a different team now, and Dak needs to become a game manager again. He needs to dial it back and play within himself and play within the offense.
I completely agree, and that's definitely an interesting discussion for the Cowboys next year and how they're going to do that. Because
let's continue that during your DraftKings lineup.
They all know. All right, and then my last player is defense. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Chiefs defense here, and basically I'm just saving money, and I was choosing between the Chiefs and the Bengals there. They're both very close. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the Chiefs here. There you go.
Dude, I like it's right now. It is so hard for me not to just pick the Bengals to win, like flat out win the Super Bowl, because like I want to.
Yeah, there's a lot of people writing that Bengals.
Can you
it's
see
Joe
what the
Bur-
Vegas line is on that?
It's
On
Joe
what?
Burrow, dude.
On each team,
Odds to win.
odds to win the Super Bowl. Like, what are they? Plus 45 or?
I imagine the
45?
Bengals are probably fourth.
It's hard to. I was like, no, and then I'm looking at the teams. And go, well, maybe. Like, dang. God, we have 4 really good teams going against each other this weekend. I'm really excited. Like, this is cool.
I wish that it had played out. Like, to me, it should be Bills Bengals this weekend. Like, to me, like the Bills kind of got screwed, and they should have played the Jaguars, and the Chiefs Bengals game should have happened last weekend, and the Bengals should have sent the Chiefs home, because I think the Bills are a better team than the Chiefs. I do.
Okay, odds to win the Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles plus 230, Kansas City Chiefs plus 240, Bengals plus 290, and Frisco's plus 340.
So Frisco's
Frisco's,
last.
yeah.
And by a good margin.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's got to be quarterback.
Vegas agrees with
It's
me.
got to
Well,
be
of
the
course,
quarterback.
It's all
yeah.
about Brock Purdy. That's
But
the
you know,
only
it's-
reason I'm picking against the Niners.
Am I the only one in this room who's
That
old enough,
watches the games. No.
that's old enough to remember when the Tom Brady led Buccaneers were a 14-point underdog to the St. Louis Rams led by Kurt Warner in the Super Bowl, and the argument against the
That's when they recorded the defense.
and the
right?
argument yeah this is before then, they didn't have enough money yet.
That's one of the very first, like, are the Patriots cheaters type.
And that happened after, and that was like several years after they had won all their Super Bowls. That was like the Deflategate was from like 2008.
Yeah, but this was
2009.
before Deflategate.
Huh? This
Was
is like
it that
10
long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds
I'm,
about
I'm
right.
sorry, no.
Feels
not,
like
no,
yesterday.
No. Spygate. Excuse me.
Spygate.
Spygate.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Spygate was
And
like
Deflategate was like 7 or 8 years ago, right?
no, it was more than 10. It was
God, I'm old.
It was the 2011.
Anybody else?
2011.
No, I need a beer.
It was
though.
the 2011 championship game. Or no, wait, no. It was
I drink too much of that. I won't be productive.
Whichever
tomorrow.
one they played whichever one they played against the Colts.
No, give me something I can doctor.
Remember when Andrew Luck was young
Works, yeah.
and they made a championship game?
Sorry, go. What
You
was
remember,
that?
you remember early on in Andrew Luck's career, they made a playoff run and they made a championship game.
Okay.
That was the team that the Patriots beat that complained about the deflated balls. So which I think it was like, I want to say it was 2014 maybe.
Okay.
2014 sounds right because that's right, because they won the Super Bowl and then the whole thing went on for a year, and then in 2016 Tom Brady got suspended for the first 4 games.
And then he went on to win the Super Bowl.
And then they won the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. And Tom Brady that year was like 36 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Like, he fucking annihilated the league that year.
Yeah, he was on a mission, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we've talked about all the games and stuff.
Well, we need Ray's lineup.
We
still.
need Ray's lineup. That's right.
Okay, so starting off at quarterback, I have Jalen Hurts,
Okay.
7,200. And then I went ahead and just, went with I think the go-to player of the Frisco is going to be McCaffrey, so I went with McCaffrey. Mixon for the Cincinnati, and then Boyd, saving some money for a utilized tool, 3,800. Brown for the Eagles, Samuel for Frisco again, Goddard for the tight end, and my flex is going to be Gainwell. And then I went ahead and went with the Eagles because I could see the Frisco just collapsing and not performing.
You could see this being the
mean,
game where
the Niners.
Purdy turns into a pumpkin.
Yeah, I can see this being.
So it's so interesting to me the track that he's on, right? Because so Tom Brady is still playing at 45 years old. He'll play again next year at 46.
Yeah, it sounds like he's playing.
And the
again.
way that
might as well.
the
He threw
way
his
that
family away.
his career
Damn.
that's out there, that joke's
soon.
out there. The way that his career is written, it's seemingly impossible to have a better career, right?
And I think that's part of it. I think it's like he's trying to set the bar so high.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was drafted in the 6th round, right? 199th overall. Wins a Super Bowl in his 2nd year, right? And then goes on to do all the things that he's done. Okay, man, that is so hard to top, right?
But Brock Purdy
Purdy. No, hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. And in his first Super Bowl run, he had to go on the road and take down the Steelers in the AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh. They weren't supposed to win that game. And actually, I think Brady got knocked out of that game. I believe Bledsoe finished that game. And then because there was a controversy who was going to start the Super Bowl, and like I'm pretty sure Bledsoe won the game, but they announced Brady was going to start the Super Bowl. So, Brock Purdy gets drafted as the absolute last draft pick, absolute last
story,
pick,
yeah.
right? You can't get
great.
drafted any farther.
Yep.
And in his rookie year, gets to take over this team. And it's like, obviously, Tom Brady, when he took over that team, it was a championship level team, obviously, right?
Right.
Because we know that it wasn't Tom Brady that did it. He just didn't undo it. Right? He was a game manager.
Yes.
And to me, that's what is going, like, it's more exciting because the offense that Kyle Shanahan has around Brock Purdy just produces a bunch of points with him just being efficient. Mm-hmm. But it really does remind me of that. Like, it really does. The way that he's playing. Because he is just... I've not seen it. I've watched football for a long time, dude, and I have not seen a quarterback come along and play like this.
Brady, Roethlisberger. Yeah. No, I agree.
The list is short.
It is a short list, and
and you
I'm
nailed
not
it.
Trying
by the
to
way.
take. Thank you.
And Brady, and honestly, and Brady's wasn't nearly as impressive. Roethlisberger's was. Roethlisberger started like 15-1 or something like that. I remember.
Yeah.
It was crazy. He was so good right away,
and got to the championship game, and and he did it as a game manager. Mm-hmm. He really did. Like, as somebody who watched every single game, like. It was him not making mistakes, letting the defense win the game for him, getting first downs, and not being able to be tackled. That was huge too.
Yes. Yes, like his arm.
So he did do it a little differently in that he did have that physical asset.
He
that
showed
Purdy
you that he
have.
had the tools, and then he also just played beyond his years, way beyond his years, and that's and so Brock Purdy's not Ben Roethlisberger physically, obviously,
right.
But he's pretty close to Tom Brady. He's not far off of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know, like he doesn't like there's nothing about Tom Brady physically that's ever wowed anybody.
For sure. But
he's been able to do it. And the thing is the thing that I keep thinking of when I think about does Brock Purdy have the tools? Can he do it? Is he a real NFL quarterback? I keep thinking of that play from the wild card game where he scrambles and he scrambles left, almost to the sideline, turns around, gets almost all the way to the right sideline somehow, and then fires a bullet 30 yards, to the back of the end zone. And it should have been a touchdown. It should have been that play should be one of Brock Purdy's highlights.
And honestly, last week or the week before, he had a similar play that was a highlight play. I don't think it was for a touchdown, but very similar, where he's rolling out and just instead of running out or throwing the ball away, he's always looking downfield. Mm-hmm. And I have been very impressed with him.
One of you guys picked up Ayuk, right? One of you guys picked up Ayuk
to play on DraftKings.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think we all played Debo. We might have all played Debo.
Yeah, we all three did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Ayuk is going to have much of a week this week.
You know what I like about him now is that he's a pro. When his number's called, he makes plays.
But he's their outside player, right?
Him and Debo are so interchangeable to me. Like they don't ask him like as far as the routes that he runs.
Okay.
Because when Debo's not around, he gets the ball a lot more in the screen game. I think he's a better route runner than Debo. I think he's more of a threat downfield than Debo is.
And that makes sense because Debo is just more of a physical freak talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I like Brandon Ayuk a lot. I think he's a really, really solid football player.
I don't like him this week because I think those cornerbacks
I agree.
are so amazing.
I think George Kittle's the play this week.
Yeah.
Like
I can see that.
Debo is going to get his touches. McCaffrey's going to get his touches. I think Kittle's going to do the damage.
Unless the Philly defense is getting to Purdy, in which case Kittle's going to have to stay back.
But
and
you
block.
say that, but even so, you say that, and like if they're getting to Purdy, Kittle's going to lead the team in targets because that's who he goes to when he gets in trouble.
Okay, and I'm just saying, like over the year, I'm maybe not with. I guess I haven't paid
It's
attention
really-
with
it's
Purdy
really
at the
been-
end, but
so
it
it's
feels
really
like
been over
Kittle's
the-
disappeared in games, and that's with the games that he needed to block.
It's really been over the last month. Over the last month, him and Purdy have like turned into fucking Brady and Gronk. They are destroying people. It's like seriously, they are. Kittle has.
How was Kittle's week last week?
I want to say it was like 6 catches for 90 yards.
Okay, so not a fantastic fantasy performance,
didn't
but
score.
seriously
Yeah.
great in real game scenario.
Yeah.
Like that's fantastic. So, okay, like I say, it seems to me like the games that Kittle has disappeared this year, and he has definitely disappeared in quite a few games this year. It
He
seems
hasn't
like
done
it's
that
because
lately.
he's been blocking, and you're right. It hasn't been in the last 4 to 6 weeks.
And so here's the biggest difference. The big to me is that Brock Purdy is able to lengthen plays. He's able to create more time,
and Garoppolo couldn't.
and he seems to find Kittle as an outlet.
Now that's
Like,
a really good point there because Purdy is running outside the pocket so often when Garoppolo was not, and so Kittle did have to stay in for Garoppolo. Now he's able to make that block and then just let it go and come outside and
leak off of his block and
That makes a lot
up
of
the
sense.
field, and he's been finding him a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Okay, I like that.
And
I like that analysis.
And that's where the Eagles are soft.
All right,
Wow. So
fun stuff.
I think that kind of wraps up the football segment, and we have a little bit of extra time. So I am curious on how far along you are on The Sopranos.
So right now, so I watched a bunch of stuff, and then I felt really guilty because I watched like a whole season without my girlfriend. I couldn't help it. Like I was
Sopranos?
Yeah, I was
You're out delivering and just like, I gotta watch.
Because and now it's so easy because I finally got smart because I've had multiple phones for a while, and because I was anyway, and I finally got smart and took one of the extra phones with me, and so now that thing is set up and it can watch something or whatever, and I never have to interrupt it, and so that was the first week I did that. And so I had Sopranos on, and I just went through a whole season, and so it was, and I think we're caught up now. I think that her and I are finally at the point where I watched all the way to.
Okay.
So it's been the last few times we've been watching it, I've been like, oh my god,
He died. So what season are you on?
4.
Okay.
We're at the end of season 4.
The big pussy season. We're at the end of season 2 where Big Pussy dies.
Okay,
That was such a big thing. It's funny because Sopranos was really taking off at that point. And it's funny because I got onto Sopranos a little bit later, and so I started watching it around when season 3 was coming out, and so everybody was talking about the Big Pussy dying, and I was just like, wasn't that obvious? You know what I mean? I thought that was an obvious thing, and it was some big huge surprise that everybody was talking about.
Wasn't. I mean, yeah. When I watched the show, I was like, "Oh, that guy's dead."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. And then I remember hearing all the hype about, oh my God, they killed him. And then I watched it and was like, well, yeah, of course they killed him.
Why wouldn't they kill him?
They had to kill him. I mean,
So have you got to the point where
who said
he,
The Last of Us there?
Yeah,
Who was that?
Steven's watching The Last of
Oh,
Us.
Steven, yeah, dude. It seems like
I haven't
everybody's
yet.
watching that.
I haven't yet, so my pattern for stuff like this is like there's buzz now. It's like everywhere I go, there's somebody mentioning the Last of Us.
yeah.
You know, I'll let that go on for another year or so, and then if people are still doing it, okay, I'll check it out. Like, 'cause I was the same way with Stranger Things, and I didn't latch on to Stranger Things.
I didn't either. I didn't finish the last season.
Like I watched the first.
Last season was really good.
I watched the whole first season, and I was like, cool 80s music.
right.
Next. and maybe that's just me because like I've lived the life of nerddom. So like
It was nothing new. Yeah,
people
it's like,
people playing D&D on television was like one of the last things that I want to see. I've seen it in real life plenty of times, you know? So like,
I like seeing it in the mainstream, but then
no,
you're
I like that's cool.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not denying that. That's cool. It's just, but me on my side of it, it's like I can appreciate its
completely
coolness
agree,
and
yes.
not need to watch it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I will say that we did the same thing. We watched the first season and we were like, cool. You know what I mean? And we never really got back into it. And then my kids this year were like, oh my God, all the other kids have watched this and we really want to watch it. And I was just like, all right, we got to watch it with you so we can fast forward past, bad parts. But and there weren't that many, but there was a few. But
It's not that bad.
there's
It's not that
a
bad,
few
yeah.
that you need to fast forward past, but not horrible. But
Yeah,
but
like-
watching it with the kids, like it was like a different viewpoint. And I really loved watching it with my kids. And by the fourth season,
You
I was
mean
just
because
like,
of how they interpret the game?
just how they interpret everything.
Okay.
Just the game was much in the first season. The D&D was much more prominent than it is in the last few seasons.
I knew they were going to do that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of fades out.
It really
they were
does. So it's kind of in the background. And in the last season, they bring it back a
But
little
it's
bit.
also, but it's supposed to just like that was supposed to be like.
You would think that
the last,
you would think
and that's
that,
what I'm saying.
though.
The last season they bring it back some, and the last season is really good. So, and the last season is almost like a two-part
I don't know.
season. So the very last season is coming up next, and so it's been like this season was a prelude to the last, and it's actually really good. I like I say, and maybe it's because I watched it with my kids and got a different perspective, but it
You
was
enjoy everything you watch with your kids.
that's not far from wrong.
Cliche things can turn me off to shows and stories, and when she like loses her powers, I'm like, okay, like that. Now you went into the realm of cliche, right? Spider-Man loses his power. Like everybody at some point loses their powers, and you
then
couldn't
really
just
wants
like,
and needs them back and gets them back.
yeah, like you couldn't.
Or you have to earn them back.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so the fact that they like started dabbling in that cliche kind of really turned me off to the show.
Yeah.
But back to The Sopranos. Did you?
Yes, thank you.
Did you?
That was a hard left turn.
Yes, it was almost almost a U-turn.
Did you? I don't remember what season it happens, but Tony starts dating that Mercedes dealer.
Oh, dude. Oh my God, she's so hot. Yes. Yeah, and she's so crazy.
Yeah,
She's
she was
so crazy. Yeah. Kill me. Just kill me. Yeah, she's super crazy. But I was like, yeah, it was funny too because I'm watching it with my girl, and he meets her in the psychiatrist's office on like it was like a scheduling snafu or something like, and I was like,
Red flag.
and I said, and I think I said out loud, "There's Tony's new Goomba."
Has that storyline played out?
Yes, it
Okay,
did.
okay.
It was sad. It was really sad how it ended. Actually.
Really sad.
Well, I mean, so far, I think she's the only character that's died off screen, right?
Yes. Yeah.
'Cause
Because she killed herself.
Yeah, she killed herself, and it's
Yeah.
just they tell you about it, and Tony goes. And
I
finds
never
out about
considered it being a killed herself scenario. I never considered that. You're saying what you're implying is they hung her intentionally.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not
okay.
implying that. I'm not because Tony didn't know about it.
Right.
No, because what would like I feel like if that actually was what happened in the show, then like Tony would have found out about it and he would have killed whoever did it, and But no, that's not what I was saying at all. Like, I do think she killed herself, but it's like you didn't see anything. It was just like you didn't see her for a couple episodes, and he found out that she had killed herself. You know?
Yeah.
And
the whole wife's thing perspective was like, you almost had me feeling bad for one of these
one of you stupid whores or whatever.
Yeah. And I was like, she's right.
That's really funny. Yeah. That was so awkward when she like took Mrs. Soprano for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's been so long. Like you guys are talking about this, and I'm just like, man, I need to rewatch that series.
So
it's been too long.
I apparently like so when I watched this episode I'm about to talk about right now, as I'm watching it, like I'm laughing my ass off and thinking to myself that, like, man, this might be their like jump the shark moment, like, because this episode's gonna be really hard to top. And it was the episode where they're just supposed to go collect money from a Russian guy, and then for whatever reason Paulie doesn't like the guy. And Paulie just like starts messing with his stuff and starts disrespecting him, and then they get into it, and then it turns into like this thing where Paulie kills him, or at least he thinks he kills him, and he wraps him up. They wrap him up. They put him in the trunk, and they drive him out into the middle of like the forest, you know, to bury him. And when they open the trunk, he's alive, and then he gets away. That episode is the best.
Then they're trapped out in the woods.
Yeah,
in the
like
cold, right?
And Chris is his head's all fucked up because he got hit with the shovel in the forehead. Yeah, dude, and they're like eating fucking ketchup and relish packets, and they like he ripped the carpet off of the fucking the floor of the van to wear as a blanket. Shit, dude, so funny, so fucking funny. Like Chris pulls a gun on him and shit. Like
that's definitely a memorable episode. I love it. Yeah,
he's like, hey, don't be pulling that rank shit on me out here. Out here, we're just two assholes in the
woods. Give me some fucking blanket.
I think that was probably the episode that really won me over with Chris, though. Because like Chris is kind of like a whatever.
Chris was
character.
A really iffy character for me for a long time.
That episode
he certainly makes
there.
you go like this with your emotions.
Yes,
like you're on his side, and then you're like fuck that guy, and then you're on his side again, and then
yeah, for sure.
And then that episode I think sold me. I was like, all right, yeah, Chris is my dude. Like I'm riding with Chris.
I don't know if he was ever my dude, but I like at least respected him more after that one. Yeah. So did you happen to watch the episode yet? I don't know what season it happens where they come across the biker gang.
No, biker gang.
Yeah, they still whine.
Not yet.
As one of those like whimsical like, oh, let's this wine.
So what I love about this show is the humor.
Yes,
it's so dry, and it's like ironic and like
so up my alley.
it's dry, it's ironic, it's like
you're laughing at people getting killed or maimed.
But the thing is, the reason you're laughing though is because they like something like they made him wear that stupid shirt, or you know what I mean, like because it's like they'll bring back a joke from like earlier in the show while something serious is going on.
The writers
like
were fantastic.
They were so good.
Yes.
So good. Yes, the show's amazing.
My favorite really scene out of that show, and maybe you haven't got there yet,
don't spoil anything,
was the Red Lobster scene.
Damn it, I haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
They have not been to Red Lobster.
Yeah,
don't tell me anything more.
That between Chris and Paulie, the Red Lobster
God damn it, Chris and Paulie on screen are hilarious together.
That scene
and
just kind of like encapsulates the whole brotherhood of what they're going
it's
through.
It's impossible for me to not call him Winghead.
Yeah, Silver Wings.
Well, I think Richie only says it one time. He calls him Winghead. One time, but I laughed so fucking hard when he said it, and I was like, and it just like stuck, dude.
Yeah,
because it's that stupid hairdo. That hairdo is so stupid,
so bad.
And in that episode where him and Chris are out in the woods, his hair gets all fucked up. Dude. It's so fucking funny.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. So yeah, right now in the show, Adriana's getting worked over by the FBI.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. So I feel bad for her because it feels like that's the end of her. I don't see how she doesn't die at the end of that.
That certainly had it was, I don't know, it was that story arc was oddly satisfying for me.
Hers?
That story arc of the whole FBI,
thing?
getting into her,
okay.
like, yeah, that whole story arc, when they finish it was like oddly satisfying finish.
You found the blonde attractive?
No, it's not that. It's just.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say that overall, like everything about that series, just The Sopranos, every single season was satisfying to me.
So just real quick,
just-
that's one bad moment for Chris was like, so Chris was really like a real douche to Adriana.
Right?
Yeah, he goes back and forth. Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, he is a douchebag, I guess, when you think about it.
and
What's
so that
up, what a busy?
the FBI chick is hanging out and he's trying to get a threesome started.
Yeah.
But he's able to turn it around on her friend. And so Adriana's just pissed off at her friend. And I laughed. I laughed out loud when that was happening.
Oh my goodness! There's so many good things. Like just talking about it with you guys, I'm just like, man, I really need to go rewatch this.
Yeah, you
Like,
should.
it's-
It's
I
so
have
good.
it on DVD. Like I bought it as soon as I could because I love that series so much.
So-
I was just like,
The biggest question in the show is whether or not Tony bangs his psychiatrist, right?
I guess that could be a question. Yeah.
Right?
well, that's the first 3 seasons thing.
Well, so here's the thing: is a lot of shows like the way that they maintain an audience is on is through sexual tension,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And particularly a relationship that's not happening that people want to happen, right? And so that's what I see when I watch the show is like he's definitely got a thing for his psychiatrist and she's definitely got a thing for him. So like that's like the
There's a moment where she's faced with an ethical dilemma, like straight up in front.
Are you talking about you're not talking about the rape situation?
Okay.
are you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay, so you were
and-
that far.
Yeah. So I am that far, and I'm at the point where I'm wondering. It's like, so I've gotten past it now because it's been long enough ago where it's like, yeah, they wouldn't make a whole lot of sense if they just brought it up now, but like, so it happened, and then shortly after they were in a session, and
I almost wish she would have caved.
And he was talking about, maybe she was right, and he was ready to see a behavioral therapist or something like that. And she blurted out, no, because she was like,
She didn't want to lose him.
she didn't want to lose him because he was comfort knowing that if she did, want to, have revenge exacted, all she knew that all she had to do was tell Tony.
Yeah.
She liked having that sense of power.
Yes, exactly. So and they kind of tease you with it a little bit because then she's randomly like out in town and goes to like the restaurant where he works, and he's like and sees the employee of the month sticker or like poster board of him on the wall, and so it's like, are they gonna keep like teasing this? Is she gonna tell him? Is it gonna like what's gonna happen here? Like, so like there's the writers like that's another brilliant thing. 'Cause I don't know how that actually plays out, but they like do such a good job of like not making that a like cheesy situation between him and his psychiatrist, because they could have.
It could have been Sam and Diane from Cheers and just been like, oh, God,
Ross and
whatever.
Rachel.
Yeah, stop this stupid shit.
Exactly. It could have
but
been.
it wasn't like
But it
that,
wasn't.
yeah.
It was like you saw they give her her character the raw attraction, and they give and he's just like he is who he is. So he's like, yeah, I want to bang this broad.
She's hot. Cool.
She's hot. She's hot and Italian. So stay with your own kind. That's one thing that's like a little like I'm glad there's not too much of that in the show. But yeah.
So Bezzy just joined us, and he thinks we're going to put an asterisk next to his name because he was wrong last week.
Whoa.
But his new Super Bowl pick is going to be the Bengals versus the Bengals versus the Eagles. So yeah,
he's
Why are you
half
trying to be wrong 2 weeks in a row?
He's picking from both sides, man. Bengals
Straddling
from your
the
side,
fence.
yeah, it's absolutely.
Pick us. I thought you were on my team, man. What happened? No, I'm just kidding.
there's some validity.
It does seem like he's been on your team for the last few picks.
I know.
so.
Well,
but
I'm a lot
apparently me
smarter
and
than
Brian
you.
know a little bit about football.
Right?
I'll give you guys a little bit.
Come on now, give me some.
I know a little bit about football. But yeah.
So-
I just
And Wadabizi, in case you missed it, yeah, I mean, I think you see it on the screen there. But Kansas City and Eagles were me and Ray, and San Francisco Bengals was Ken. And go ahead and rewind if you want to hear us like talk at length about those games,
And make
'Cause
some
we
good
did.
bets.
Oh yeah, and we made some great bets, so that's definitely worth going over. But anyway, we are definitely on to the
we've
fun
been
part.
talking about
and-
Sopranos for like a good 20 minutes now.
If you've got a question for us or something, or if you've got a show you want to throw out for
Yeah,
us, please do.
absolutely. We're doing entertainment right now.
We're just
on
kind of
bonus
like
time.
wrapping up now. So.
Yeah, we're drinking Hornitos,
Yep.
tequila, and beer,
We're still drinking Swami's.
which I'm out of.
The Swami's India Pale Ale.
Oh yeah, from last week, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
6.8% alcohol.
definitely caught a
Not
buzz.
bad. Yeah.
Those are my favorite beers, like
The IPAs.
the IPAs, the hazies that are somewhere between like 6.5% and 7.5%.
After a long day, those are definitely like great because you just like immediately catch a buzz.
Yep, you
and
just
you're
drink like two, and you're like, okay, I don't. All right, what were we doing?
Life is better.
What do you say?
He's excited for episode 3, Last of Us.
Oh yeah, yeah. Aren't we all?
I haven't even
Wait,
started
episode 3? As in,
Yeah,
there's only 2 that you can watch so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
this is
if you're a
brand
binge
new.
watcher, let it go for a while.
That's why it's so surprising that it's got so much, word of mouth going on right now.
Because there's
Like,
only 2 episodes. So far.
everybody's talking about it, and there's only 2 episodes in. And I think it's a combo of the
Television
video
being
game.
bad so far.
Well, no,
Television's
so-
been bad lately.
So many people loved this video game that
Oh, it's the zombie game, huh?
yes, and
And it has that one girl in it. She's the voice actor. She's in a lot of
it's more
movies
of a
as like a
mushroom game
BBC
than a zombie
actor.
game. But
They had to change some things,
they're
and it,
fungi rather than zombies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's very clear in the first episode. Yeah.
Oh, so we're fighting
So-
fungi?
right. Who kind of like make
I never
us-
played the game. Sorry.
Make us
Neither have I.
I haven't either. But yeah, the fungi they've reached a certain temperature on the Earth now that they can actually invade human hosts rather than just
you know what? So
insect hosts.
okay, so I get it now.
Fun fact.
I get why this is so exciting to people. It's because the Earth is getting warmer, and they're just like scared about what it actually means.
Honestly, that's a minor part of it. That's just kind of like that's a minor part of the introduction that a lot of people probably don't even like pay
But there's a
attention
lot
to.
of people doing stuff like that now. Like I remember the first time.
Well, it seems plausible. They make it plausible in that way.
the first time that
I don't think any of us
saw
are watching Royal Rumble. Anybody guys watching the Royal Rumble?
wrestling.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's wrestling. I'm not watching.
I haven't watched a Royal Rumble since we were in high school.
You know what's weird though is like I'm seeing a lot of like wrestler stuff on TikTok, and it's weirdly entertaining. You know, and Chad, one of our
Does
one
Chad
of our,
still watch it?
One of our mutual friends, Chad, he describes wrestling as like the best ongoing soap opera ever.
It is. That's what it is. That is what it is. It's Days of Our Lives, but they fight.
Yeah. He's like, and when if you put it in that context, then yeah, it could be very
Yes,
enjoyable.
and when and in the times since our
Can I get a beer?
childhood, in the times since our childhood that I've watched it, because when we were kids, it wasn't about it being a show and it just being entertaining.
Yeah.
It was no, dude. The Rock is going to kick mankind's ass, or they were teaming up a lot, so it was no, dude, The Rock is going to kick Stone Cold's ass. You know, that's what it was about. It was like, my guy's going to kick your guy's ass. When Whereas as we've gotten older, when I do happen to just like watch it for 5 minutes, I do enjoy it actually, because I sit back and just watch it and for what it is.
Yeah, just entertainment.
It is,
Yeah.
and like it's because it is funny. It is funny.
I mean, if you enjoy shit talking, it's like right up your alley, right?
Oh yeah. And
I
I
want to listen in shit talk,
and
right?
dude, and those interviews with The Rock back in the day were so fucking good, so good. Like it's not surprising at all that guy is the highest paid actor. Not at all. That guy was like, he was always hilarious.
I will say, like, he is really kind of like turned a corner and like, dude, he is like a movie megastar now. That's crazy.
It's been that way for like 10 years
So, yeah, I mean, close to 10.
for him.
It seems amazing to me because, I mean, he is the Arnold Schwarzenegger of our generation. Like, he can act okay.
I think he's
But he's got a big giant
I think
ass
he's
body.
pretty
and-
typecast right now.
Well, he's huge.
Yeah.
Like what? Like there's only like unless you're voice acting, but honestly, I think the guy's
and
funny.
he was good in Moana.
He has good comedic timing. Like he's a charismatic dude.
Have you watched Moana yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's Maui, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I
As a voice actor, he's pretty good too. I wasn't.
My son
he
loves
was
that
better
song.
there than in some of the movies.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I sing that to my kids all the time, and they hate it. It's wonderful.
You're welcome.
Why did you do that, Daddy? You're welcome. Oh, it's awesome.
Torturing your kids is the best.
Oh my goodness, that's the
Something
best
to be
part of
said
being.
for
That's
it,
one of the
yeah.
best parts of being a fatherhood. That's so much great.
You know what's funny is like our 5-year-old is really like he's a real emotional kid. Like he's he's energetic. He wants to like be fighting and stuff all the time, but he can get like into the pits, you know, and just like and you can piss him off, and when you piss him off, like he doesn't want to talk to you, and he doesn't want to listen.
Right.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, and so when he gets into those modes, I'll mess with him. I'll like.
As a good dad does.
Thank you. What are you doing over here? What are you doing? What are you doing over here? And just teasing him and nudging him and teasing him and nudging him. And he always and as long as I have time to play with him, he always comes out of it.
Yeah.
And we end up wrestling around. He's laughing, whatever, you know. But I've come up with these little different things. You know, you find things that your kids like for whatever reason it bothers them.
Right.
Like you don't even know when you're doing it. And you come up with something, and it's like they get irritated by it. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna do that again, right?
Let's have some fun with this one.
Yes, let's see how long this lasts. And so yeah, I'll be doing that stuff, and his mom is like, "You're so hard on him." I'm like, no, I'm not. Like he eventually, like he'll get it. Like it's like in life, like if people don't like you, they'll just not talk to you. You know, they won't do anything with you. They won't. You know,
Try not to interact.
they
with
just
you,
won't
yeah.
interact with you, and he'll learn that. Like
Yep.
when like when he's mad, like he'd much rather have someone coming over there and picking at him, even though he doesn't know that yet, than people just leaving him alone.
Right.
Back to the fungi thing, though. I do have an interesting fact. About
So what did the fungi do in the show?
I don't know.
Well, hold
I haven't
on.
watched it.
Interesting fact. Go ahead.
Fungi is the one vegetable on this planet that we know of that breathes oxygen. Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting when I was like, what? Like, they actually breathe oxygen, not
Rather than carbon
dioxide?
dioxide.
They breathe carbon dioxide. Yeah.
No, they breathe oxygen
Rather than carbon
rather
dioxide.
than carbon dioxide.
That's why it's a big deal.
They breathe
yeah.
like us.
Oh,
It's interesting.
That is crazy.
we should kill them all.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Just like the cows and everything else that breathes oxygen.
and I'm giving very, very little away here, but
Yeah,
like,
let's just get to the point where we're eating Soylent Green.
in the first episode, there's a point where they bring in this expert on fungi and this kind of
That would be a macrobiologist or a...
sure.
Actually, you know what? It's funny that you guys mentioned that. My wife is actually going through that right now.
biology.
fungi. She's got a whole class on just fungus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's got to go hiking and doing a.
You should watch it. Have her watch the first episode just to see what she says. Like, it actually gets kind of interesting there. I'm curious,
Maybe.
like how much is accurate and how much isn't.
I kind of want to watch it now.
They make it
but I
sound
don't
very
because there's
scary.
only 2 episodes. I hate that.
I know.
From
I know.
a medical perspective, like fungus is like dangerous. It's like really
Exactly.
dangerous. To have a fungus infection
You know-
is
you know
like
what's
And so when they
it's
have
hard to kill.
when they have a meeting with the expert, they're like, so what do we do? She's like, well, you get lots of bombs and you bomb everybody in the city. That's how you stop the spread. I'm just like, holy fuck. Okay.
Well, yeah, because they like. I mean, if you're talking about like things that could become enemies that would be really fucking hard to kill, fungus grows everywhere. It's so hard to get rid of.
And because the temperature has changed in this new world, that they can get. Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I was surprised that it was based on a video game because as a story, it doesn't feel like it. Like it's.
well, they made some modifications to it.
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
And I was watching the director, and he was just kind of like, yeah, it makes sense in a video game you could do that, but not like in a storytelling. And one example of that is like in the video game, I guess there's like zones of fungus where you would have to wear like a mask to run through this zone of fungus. But that's not the real world case. If there's fungus in the air, it's going to spread. Like it's not going to be contained in a zone.
Yeah.
So like there's things they have to change.
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, because it doesn't work outside of the video game world.
Yeah. So there was that he mentioned that in like the military or something, the way the military chases them. But I haven't watched the actual show, and I never played the video game.
I'm probably gonna check it out, but
Let me put it this way: in the last 3 or 4 years, like since like I have everything
Thrones?
streaming, well, just everything's streaming. You know what I mean? And once everything's become streaming, I don't watch anything week to week.
Okay,
like there's
right.
just no reason
You know what's
to.
fun?
I'm gonna
Okay,
watch
so-
it when there's several episodes built up.
I'm glad that you
But
said
this
that.
is one of the very few shows where I'm like watching every episode, and I can't wait till next Sunday to watch the next.
That was
episode.
me with
And
Game
I
of
have to
Thrones.
watch it because everyone at work is going to want to talk to me about it, and if I haven't seen the episode, then I can't talk to everybody at work about it. You know what I mean? It's one of those shows, and so
okay,
those are
yeah.
pretty rare.
I haven't. Well, I haven't punched a clock.
Yeah, well,
in
okay.
like
Fuck you.
I 2009. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in an environment where that, like, I understand. But I do understand. I do understand that, like, knowing what was going on in this cool show makes it a lot easier to have conversations at work.
Yeah.
And not even just easier to have conversations. It's like, for a while, it's like, if the conversations are only going to be about this, I'm not going to know what the fuck's going on if I don't watch it.
Right. Well, and when you do watch it, it's that good too. So it's that combo.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. I think the last show for that was
I've
Game of
never
Thrones.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
Game
was
of
the last
Thrones
show
is
I
definitely the next one. I
Yeah.
feel like there's one that we're missing in between, but
In between the two,
yeah, between Game of Thrones and now, like
Like a hot show.
Yeah.
that you had to watch week to week.
Yes.
Not that you had to watch.
I feel like
week
there
to
was
week.
one that we're missing, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
because Stranger Things dropped in seasons.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing. That's the only phenomenon I can think of between like this and Game of Thrones.
It's important to watch.
It's been a while because it's
Phenomenon.
been since Game of
Has it?
Thrones, really.
Yeah.
That
I-
there was like a show that everybody was hyped about, you know.
I was
and then before Game of Thrones, it would have been Breaking Bad.
Yeah, probably. I was explaining this to one of my cousins the other day, where they were like, they hadn't seen, I think it was Breaking Bad or something. I go, let's use Star Wars for example. I'll use Star Wars for example for her. I was like, if you had never seen Star Wars, there's so much cultural side jokes you would miss. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's a phenomenon. Like there's just so many other shows that reference it and make jokes of it, and it just would go over your head because you're not paying attention. You didn't go ahead and watch that.
The guy who
totally
does the podcast for the NFL, the Around the NFL podcast, the host, has never seen Star Wars.
And they wear that like a like a badge of honor. Oh, I've never seen it. Put that badge of honor on me. I'm like,
that's not a badge of honor.
Yeah, you're depriving yourself.
Yeah, you're depriving yourself.
There's so much.
That's like saying I don't want to have sex.
I'm the one person that hasn't done it.
Yeah, I'm happy being a virgin.
That's me.
I mean, when I hear people talk about like like that about not watching Star Wars and just being like, oh, I'm above the influence, kind of. Okay, no, you're not. Like you're just celibate.
You're a different kind of celibate.
You're an incel.
What do we think of Better Call Saul? I watched one season.
I
of that.
Have been told that I need to go back and watch it again because I've been told that season 1 is a little slow, and that it really kicks off in season 2.
I'm hearing that there are more seasons of that now than Breaking Bad, from what I understand.
I don't know if it's 7 or 8 seasons.
Yeah.
I think they've ended, but they did get to either 7 or 8. I thought so, but I could be wrong.
I'm not sure if they did.
Okay, I don't know enough to say.
Yeah,
one
if they
way or
have
the
that,
other,
so if they have more seasons than Breaking Bad, I think they're still going.
well, Breaking Bad was 7 seasons. So
But Breaking Bad ended in like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Ended in 2013, and Better Call Saul started in 2015.
Wadabizi, you know if it's still going or whoever's out there?
Yeah.
He hasn't said yet. I'm
But,
sure he'll chime in.
But I have watched like the first half of the first season. I didn't get to finish, and I will say it wasn't because of the show. It was because of other things happening outside my life, different shows, kids and everything else. And so I never quite got back to it because I couldn't watch it with other people.
They are, especially if they're prequels, because you know how it's going to end.
But I will say that the episodes that I watched, I really enjoyed. Like, they were really good. And I remember watching this going like, I'm going to watch this show. You know what I mean? When I get a chance.
Gotcha.
And then I never got that chance.
I think the guy that plays Saul, I think his name's Bob Odenkirk. He's really he's very good.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's great. He's really good at that role.
That character was. He
at
was
that
born
character
to play that role.
at that role. He is
play
amazing.
That role.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I was in the first episode when he represents those 3 teenagers or something like that, and he gets that check, and he's like, I got like 3 teenagers. And she was like, "It's not my fault. You represented them all at once. You should have represented them all individually." Like it, kind of gave you some insight to like the lawyer world, where to
make money.
Like,
Screw them all, man.
Like,
Come
I
on.
should have represented them by themselves. So that was my takeaway. Oddly enough,
That's funny. I like that. I like the odd takeaways.
So I was gonna say I've never been able to watch these all these classic shows like week to week to week to week. I've never been able to do that. Even before binge watching was a thing, because so the first show that I can remember like getting into where I watched every single episode was Friends. And even that I was spoiled on because I didn't find it by watching it on network television. I got it from Chad's sister. She had because like when DVD sets first started coming out. Yeah. That was how I first watched Friends. I had never I didn't watch television week to week, and
That's a good way to watch that.
and so it's the only way. Trust me, it's the only way. I actually I haven't watched the show in probably over 10 years now, and I'm rewatching it right now, and it's frustrating because
Friends?
Because I'm watching it on HBO Max, and it's okay. If you're gonna stream a television show, why wouldn't you put the uncut version out there? Why? Why would you cut it? That doesn't make any sense. And so I watched all those completely uncut episodes that you can the only way to watch them
is on DVD.
Is on the DVD or Blu-rays
I didn't
now.
think about that.
Okay.
So it's frustrating to watch because there's missing jokes. There's a good 60 to 90 seconds that's cut out of every single Friends episode for the streaming service. It's so embedded in my brain because I watched through the show probably like 5 or 6 times before I was like 25.
Wow. Okay.
That it's hard to watch because I know where all the jokes are missing. That's not how that's supposed to go. That doesn't flow right. That didn't feel right. Oh, that's where they cut out this joke, and I can still remember them. So it's like it's weird to watch, and I imagine that there's a version of that for like every show.
So I didn't start watching Friends until they were on their last season.
That's when I watched it week to week. Were on their last season.
I'll be right back.
So I had to go back and rewatch those. But as a spin-off, the best spin-off show, and if you like shit talking, is Frasier.
Frasier's so good.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh yeah. And yes, I agree. Frasier is absolutely the best spin-off show because it was probably better than Cheers.
Yeah.
It was like I watched both.
I did too.
I watched both, and obviously way after. I think I watched. I probably watched Cheers after I watched Frasier, and a friend of mine had like suggested that I watch Frasier, and dude, I loved it. Like I was probably in my late 20s when I watched the first time, and I just like, how did I miss the show? Because it was one of those things where it's like, as a kid, you'd see the little do for Frasier coming on. Oh, change the channel.
Just change the channel.
You know, as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
But as an adult, oh my god, that show is hilarious. It is. Every single episode is so good, so good. Like, and it's like because it's highbrow humor, and the physical comedy in that show is just so good.
As a kid, I could see you like being like, let's turn this off because the intellectual
it's not where you're at.
Yeah, it's just like over your head.
You know, you don't want to, and they're bald people. You know, they're like, so it's just like because Frasier and his brother are both balding, so it's like you just as a kid, that's just like you feel like you're watching an old people show or something like that. But like watching it as an adult, especially as a 35-year-old adult who's balded plenty, like they don't. It's not like it's that show is phenomenal. It is so funny, and the dad. Oh my god, dude, their dad is so funny. Like,
how did he have two kids like that? Right?
Yes, it makes no sense. Yes, it's the best.
I'm somebody that really, really appreciates the shit talking on television shows, which is probably why I like Sopranos so much, and probably why I like Frasier so much. You know, there's just, and even Friends has their own like wit of shit talking too. You know,
very sarcastic. They're sarcastic with each other when they're shit talking. Yeah,
but Frasier, I felt like Frasier was like
the put downs are so good. They're so next level.
Next level. I was gonna say that they're next level shit talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I love is Frasier. Off you go. Because he says it to everybody. You're like it's just like it's such a polite and dismissive. Get the fuck out of here, you know. Off you go. It's so good. Yes, and I don't know if you've ever had sherry, like. I had to drink it. I had like
oh yeah, because the alcohol. Yeah,
because
sherry.
like almost every episode, Sherry Niles. But the thing is about that, it's so stupid. That's like a cooking wine.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so they're like these wine connoisseurs. They're like super hoity-toity, but they drink sherry all the time.
I was curious about that. I was like, is there something I don't know? I thought that was. Yeah.
I didn't, and like when I first watched the show, like I said, I was still in my late 20s. I didn't know anything about wine at the time. You know, they were drinking, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go try it too. And I went to go buy a bottle, and it says cooking wine. And I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah, because
they're always talking about drinking sherry.
So what Beezy wants to know how we feel about Seinfeld. Have you guys watched Seinfeld?
Yes. I don't know if I watched every single episode, but I think I've seen most of the episodes and definitely really enjoyed it. It's not like one of my all-time favorites like a lot of people like, oh my God, that's the amazing thing. But I definitely recognize the genius and could definitely see why so many people enjoyed it because they're just fun. Like every single episode, no matter what, like no matter how good or bad the episode is, always fun to watch.
They're so fucked up.
So they're some of the most obnoxious.
So here's what I think. Here's what I think about Seinfeld, and I do love Seinfeld. Seinfeld's hilarious.
Yeah,
Seinfeld is the '90s version of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
A prequel.
Because every show is about nothing. Like they're none of like you don't have to watch the shows back to back to back to back. Like you can bounce season to season. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. And the things that they do and don't get in trouble for. You know what I mean? Like in Always Sunny,
like in a TV way, or
not just in a general way.
It gives you the impression that that's just the way it is in New York, right?
It does,
yeah.
But it does. But they're constantly like doing shady shit, and they're and getting away with things and screwing people over in minor ways. And so that's why I love the way that the show ended.
And them in jail. That's right.
That was so perfect because
when they wandered outside of New York.
Because yes, they were outside of New York and they didn't actually do anything. They actually this time didn't do anything. All they did was laugh at somebody.
And not do anything, yeah.
And didn't and not do anything, and got arrested for it, and ended up in jail because like that was the whole show. Was like these people should be in jail. For all
I thought that was a good ending to a show. They got a lot of shit for the ending of that show.
I loved it.
I thought it was good.
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
And I'll say the same about The Sopranos without saying anything else. Like there was a lot of shit given about the end of The Sopranos, and I was just like, I don't know what you
end the show like that.
So
yeah.
that was one thing that I knew about The Sopranos going into it. Was I know about the ending. Okay. I know that it just kind of like I'm pretty sure it plays that Journey song and just kind of like nothing happens.
Yeah, Family Guy makes a pretty good reference to it. Yeah.
And well, I remember people talking about it when it happened. I remember it being a big deal. Right. Now, and I mean I never got involved because I wasn't watching the show, whatever. I'm halfway through the show now. And that wouldn't shock me at all if they just like left you with nothing, because like so many of the episodes end with the fuck was that?
No, it was just the fact that there was so much expectation built up. You know what I mean? It's like this is the ending of the ultimate series. How are they gonna do it? You know,
just like they did every other episode that you loved. and like when I think of like the Sopranos shows and the way they end. Like, their endings are always so just like... The only way that you would know that the ending was coming up is if you were watching the ticking time.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, oh, there's got to be an ending around here right now. Like, it's going to come up. And the one that really comes to mind is the last episode where Tony interacts with the Mercedes girl. She thinks that she's just going back to work and, whatever. And then she's given a test drive to some guy, and it turns out to be, one of his captains, right? Mm-hmm. And he threatens her and all this, that, and the other.
Oh, right? One of my favorite moments of the show.
Okay. Yeah. It won't be cinematic.
Yeah. I'm the last one you're going to be seeing.
Not Tony. And then that episode ends with that guy just like holding a bag of groceries, gets into his car, and drives off.
Yeah.
And nothing happens.
It's everyday life. Yeah.
Every day. It's just everyday life. Nothing. It's just everyday life. Nothing happens. Nothing out of the ordinary happens. It's just and I was like, because you're watching it and the way that he drives off, it's like, oh, there's an intersection there. Maybe he's gonna get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
And so you just like it's palpable, and then nothing happens.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I love that.
There's so many of those endings to their shows. So knowing that the show ends on kind of like a what happened? Like, oh yeah, I get that. That's totally within the writer's style. So yeah, that's I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how that plays out. But I imagine I probably won't be disappointed.
A lot of great shows have terrible endings,
It's hard to end a show. Endings are so hard.
Yeah.
Endings are so hard because when you've got something good going on, people don't want it to end.
Exactly. You don't want it to end.
Yeah.
So
you should you almost, and you kind of get this out of books, you almost need an epilogue episode.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Because people
didn't have an epilogue. That's
because
it? Yeah,
because people want an ending in a way that they can draw other conclusions.
Yeah.
It's like having the. recently a bunch of shows did a reboot one episode. Mm-hmm. You know,
but they might do a movie. I think there's something there to that, right? If shows start doing epilogue episodes, where there's a whole episode dedicated to an epilogue.
And you don't even, and they don't even
nice
like
change of pace.
Yeah, that would be interesting, and you just get a glimpse into like 5 years into the future or something like that. Like I think I go back to Friends, like the way that show ended, the way that they closed everything off, like an epilogue episode would have been awesome, you know?
Yeah.
To see Ross and Rachel
5 years later. That'd be interesting.
It would have been really good. So yeah.
Is there like, it looks like there's a bunch of comments there. Are we just caught up or?
For the most part, yeah. Whatabizzy mentions that they got arrested for doing nothing for a show about nothing.
Right.
And then he's just curious if we've actually been to any concerts lately. And what our favorite type of music. So, I mean, for me, music is like, I'd rather be listening to an audiobook, but if I'm listening to music, it just really depends.
It's funny because I've known this guy for so long, and like he used to have like a chain attached to his wallet.
I still do.
and he used to walk around with like punk rocker clothes and stuff like that. And used to listen to Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, new metal was a thing for me in my high school. It was Coheed and Cambria, System of a Down, Korn, Deftones. A lot of those concerts. I have never been to like a big concert.
Really?
Yeah, a named headliner concert. I've never been to. I've been to like little like local band concerts, like, you know, it's to support friends and stuff who are trying to like start bands and whatnot.
Poor Man's Poison?
Yeah, no, I've never been to.
Okay.
Never.
Sorry, Hanford Band. I was just like curious.
No, I've never been to those kinds of concerts.
I saw the Killers last year.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I once offered. I asked my wife, like, "Hey, do you want to go to this Coheed and Cambria concert coming up?" Years ago.
They have a new album.
And she told me no.
They have a new album.
And then she changed her mind. But by the time she changed her mind, I was like, too late. Yeah.
You should listen to it.
I should.
New album.
I should.
They have a new album, and there's a couple songs on there I really like.
And I honestly think it just kind of depends on my point of life. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of like rap, but that's mostly because I just been angry about a lot of things. You know what I mean? So like, I'm gonna just listen.
Angry at the man right now.
I'm just gonna listen to some rap. You know. So I went like old school rap, Bone Thugs and Harmony, some of the NWA stuff that was like old school back then, you know.
Okay.
It's old school now, but it was hip back then. I don't know. I just really like, as far as rap goes, I just really like Bone Thugs and Harmony. Eminem, you know, he's good too and stuff, but he has a lot of like anger and rage that you can feel, you know.
The more recent stuff, Macklemore. I really like Macklemore. I don't know if you...
I know who he is, but I couldn't tell you his music.
I just the message from his songs and his albums are just they're cool. Like, it's a cool beat, a cool rap, and a cool message, kind of all mixed into one. Like, I'm one that, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. You know, I mean, I'm 48. I'm a little older than most, and so I grew up with the older stuff, and I have a deep appreciation for that stuff. But like, I know that I'm 48 and that I have young kids, and I don't want to be my parents. You know what I mean? I want to, you know, embrace new music and find new bands and whatnot. And I have been looking, but not with a lot of success.
Right.
I found a few bands. Let's see. Oh gosh, what are they called?
It's funny that you mentioned the 80s, because if I'm in an environment where there's like a jukebox, nowadays they're all digital jukeboxes, but if I'm in an environment where there's like a lot of jukeboxes and stuff and you got to pay for music, my go-to is 80s genre, like Tommy Two-Tone, Jenny, like that was like my jam for a long time, you know what I mean? And then there's I don't think, what are they, the Proclaimers? 5,000 miles or 10,000 miles or whatever. If you know, I would walk 5,000 miles.
Oh, I know the song.
I feel like, I don't know if they're late 70s or early 80s, but like 80s, that, that like those songs are Jesse's Girl, like
Jazz,
the
early 80s right there. Yeah,
those are really great too.
That's
those
funny.
are really good mood swingers when you're at like those bars.
You know, it's funny for me. Like
I'm
I'm actually so. We didn't grow up in that era. you know. And for me, the era that I listen to, I find like soothing, relaxing, whatever I get into it that I didn't grow up in is actually the 60s.
Okay.
Like I'll listen to a lot of like 60s music and like I like it.
And I'm more 70s, like the Led Zeppelin, the Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I didn't like that era as much.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's my jam right there.
It's
I
the
love that
psychedelic
stuff.
era.
Right, and we were talking about more modern, and like when I'm trying to look for modern bands, and I'm finding bands like Usual Suspects. I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
I've heard of them, but I couldn't tell you their song.
Oh, dude, they're just kind of cool. 21 Pilots, I've kind of got into a little bit.
But they're older though. They're not.
Well,
new.
yeah, that's more the last decade, more than the last 5 years.
I think
but-
they're 90s. 21 Pilots. I think they're 90s, maybe 2000s.
So
I didn't find them until the late
for me,
2000s. So.
lately I've been I didn't like I just music. I'm kind of the same way with like as I am with like shows and stuff like that. Like an artist really needs to put together a couple.
You got to prove you're good before I listen to you.
Yeah, like have you heard so and so? No, I haven't.
No,
Probably
they got to be
yet.
good first.
And then like a couple, and then people are still talking about them a couple years later. How many albums they have now? Something like
Right.
that. And check them out on Spotify. So, but one of the artists that I kind of just like skipped over was I'm blanking on his name now. Because I wanted to say The Dream because he's like a counter to The Dream, the guy that just did the Super Bowl. Oh my god, I'm blanking on his.
You know
name
what
right now.
genre though? While you're thinking about that
Why
artist,
am I blanking on his name? So
One of the
hard?
genres, too, has been
it's
my-
actually really funny.
my go-to genre, like when socializing.
The Weeknd.
too.
I'm sorry.
The Weekend. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
My
I've been-
wife's favorite.
so
Singer.
I've been listening. Well, I have a good sound system in my car, so I like to whatever it is that sounds the best. Like and it like hits the best is what I like to listen to, and a lot of his songs just kind of like hit the right like beats and they just,
Some of them do,
and
and some of them don't.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
He's real hit or miss.
He's got. I think I probably have. So I have a playlist that I'm always continuously adding to, and like I'll subtract from every once in a while. I'll just be like, man, I'm really tired of hearing that song when
Yeah.
it comes up, and just remove it. But it's like it's always like over 35 hours, of like music, and so I find myself I keep like listening to that recently. I've been listening to a lot of The Weeknd. Have you guys heard of the Cold War Kids?
No.
You should check them out. They're probably from like I want to say the 2010-ish.
Wait, did they had a real controversial song about shooting kids or something? Is that them or is that somebody else?
I don't know. I don't know about any of their controversies because I don't follow music that way. So the only way I ever listen to music is on Spotify.
Okay.
They've been a band since 2004, is what it says. But
Sorry, what was the band name again?
Cold War Kids. Okay, so 2017, I think, is the album that I've been listening to a lot of. It's got this song called "Love Is Mystical" and "So Tied Up," and those are both on my playlist. They're from 2017.
Okay.
And the way that I found that band was so another way that I find music is from shows.
Okay.
I'll hear a song on a show and be like, what was that? And so a show that really nailed it to me in music was Suits. Have you seen Suits?
Yes.
Suits. No.
Yeah. Every season. Yeah.
You did? Mm-hmm. Did you love it?
It was a really good show.
I loved it. I mean,
I've never heard of it. What was that on?
USA.
It's on Prime right now, though. You can watch every season on
Yeah.
Prime.
On Prime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you should watch it.
Suits.
You're gonna fall in love.
Dude, it's another one of those shows. It's like,
Oh, Brian, you're like, so go home and watch this, and please find some time to at least just watch the pilot. Even if you just watch the pilot, we'll have plenty to talk about the next time, like we talk about shows or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm honestly like at the point where I'm like, okay, I finished everything like I want to watch.
Oh, watch
And now
Suits.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking for something.
Oh
So,
yeah, watch Suits.
all right, I'm on Amazon Prime looking it up right now.
Yeah, so to me that show just really like nails the music.
makes you want to invest in good clothes, too.
I do have suits, and I mean that's where I'm headed right now. That's where my profession is. My career is headed.
It's one of those suits, and it's another show. There's a lot of talking shit, you know.
They're so
He was
good
like,
at it. Yeah,
even down to the tie, where he's like, "Get rid of that fucking skinny tie." Like, they're talking. Is this tie too skinny? Yeah, it's too skinny. I was like, I didn't even know what that ties were.
He's like,
thing.
he's like, they're both in super nice suits. He's like, that suit's a little dated for court, don't you think? and there's a lot of Jordan talk in the show because he's like, Jordan's never in the show, but he had to like. I know that you can't just like be speaking about people, in certain contexts, and the way that they talk about him in the show, he had to have signed off on something. Had to have. Because they bring him up too much.
Okay.
So one other genre that I've been getting into the past few years that I've been really exploring is electric swing.
I like that too.
Fuck, I don't know.
Every once, you know what it is every once in a while I just don't want to hear words.
Nice.
Every once in a while I'm just tired of the dribble.
I get it. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this song.
Please, I'm confused.
I'm gonna play a little bit of this song. You guys can hear it. Sounds kind of like this.
What is that?
This is Electric Swing. This is Emerald.
Electric swing.
Electric Swing. So
that's interesting. That's almost like Elon Musk's pirate music.
I don't know, but
you know about that, right?
No.
You don't know?
No.
Google that real quick. Just
Elon.
Google Elon Musk pirate music.
Really?
He's into pirate music, I guess, and because he was into pirate music, it just became this whole thing.
Oh, jeez. I hate that Elon Musk has become this like whole cult of personality, and just like that, like. I thought he was kind of cool at first.
I did too. But I'm like,
the more I learn about him, the more I'm like, dude, this guy's kind of a douche. And then the more I learn about him, I'm like, he's really a douche.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a good guy.
I'm not seeing anything about Elon Musk and pirate music.
What's it? It's called what's the name of? What's it called? It's
Pirate music.
Google that. What's the pirate music genre? Because it's got a funny name.
Huh.
Pirate metal.
No, that's not.
I'm curious.
I gotta Google this myself.
Yeah.
Two Googles are better than one.
So, what are our favorite bands and artists? I really just depends on the mood, where I'm at, the environment. One of the things I can say is it's never country. I'm never in the mood for country music.
You know what?
Dude,
actually,
I need a high five on that one.
You know what? When you're drinking in public,
no,
country
I've
music's-
never been in the mood
no.
for country music.
never.
It's not that you're in the mood. No. No one's ever like, you know what I want to hear right now? I want to hear some country.
Bad music. Oh,
But when like country music is on and you're drinking, it's palatable.
I mean, it's one of those musics that you can play in the background, but it can get very boring very fast.
Shanty. Shanty. It's called.
I love like nearly all music. Like, I'm very universal. Like, it's very hard for me to like
shanties.
find
They're
something-
called sea shanties. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's hilarious. Come on.
That's very specific, man.
Fucking so funny.
Oh, like Wellerman and stuff. Yeah.
Like there's so many sea shanties that on like if you look them up on Spotify, they have so many plays now because of
So dumb. All right.
If I could have my dream bar, it would absolutely have like days where they're dedicated to stuff like that.
Now, dude, I can see that would be cool. Like, you have your own bar, and like Thursdays are fucking sea shanty day.
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
How is that not a thing yet?
Really, I think.
No, what I mean is, how is there
Yeah.
not a nightclub in like L.A. or
Well, nightclub, that's different, right? But a bar where like
Well, but you wouldn't
you
be
can
able to-
have. It would be a cosplay bar
But
for me.
that's
Like
what
it
I'm
would be
saying,
like a
is,
cosplay
if
bar.
The
We're
only
gonna do
way that it
Pirate
would
Night on
work is if
Thursdays.
it was popular enough to
Yeah.
be like that poppin', you know, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to afford to do like those types of themes.
It would be absolutely a bar
But it
that's like
surprises
funded
me a
by other
little bit
things,
that,
and
like,
that's like
it's-
just where you go hang out.
considering like how popular cosplay is in Southern California. It does surprise me that there's not
A cosplay club.
more
Yeah.
themed like
Something more directed toward that
nighttime
genre,
interaction.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it would be like a bar that was sustainable by other means.
Hey, can we go back to talking about the cat litter in schools?
Well, okay, what about it?
Is that
you want.
Can we Google that? Is
Okay,
that for
Yeah,
real?
sure.
Yeah,
I
all
forget
right.
what
But
district passed it.
Is that real?
Yes.
It doesn't seem like it should be, but I believe Ray. Like, I don't think Ray's lying to us. So,
Because
like, he says it's true.
When I know from personal experience because I've seen it like passing, like having been at Anime Expo and being at one of the hotels and happening to passing by one of the doors as it was open. I've seen a cat box inside of someone's hotel room, and I know that it's for furry play.
So according to this article by Northeastern Global News, that it's a rumor that just won't stop coming up. Yeah.
Okay, but it's not real, right?
I'm like,
No,
I'm
there's
trying to
somebody
look it up
who's
and I'm
trying
not
to get
coming
it.
up with
We're not
anything.
allowing kids to identify as
No,
cats
no.
and shit in sand.
That
are we?
doesn't seem to be a thing. No,
Thank God.
no, that's just Tony Dungy throwing it out there because he's wants to.
How did he know about people
there's a
identifying as
lawsuit.
cats? I want to give him some credit for that.
There's an active
Can we?
lawsuit for it.
He's obviously
There's an
been
active
looking-
lawsuit for it, but
For what?
for the litter box thing. There's an active lawsuit for it, but it's
It
still
sounds like
playing out.
somebody's been reading too
somebody
many
suing the
right-wing red
state
sites.
for their
Yeah.
right to use a litter
Yes,
box.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like political bullshit to me. But,
Is there any other kind?
starting to like. I used to love politics, like just
Actually, as I learn more, I actually enjoy it more.
Oh, what a busy year teacher. That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. What do you teach?
yeah,
What do you
please.
teach?
That's funny.
And do you feel that
We have
your
somebody intelligent watching us. What?
do you feel that your curriculum is
Wait, you're
becoming
shaping young minds and you're listening to us?
do you feel like
Crazy.
chemistry? Do you feel like your
Hey,
Nice.
that's awesome.
do you feel like your curriculum is kind of, or the curriculum around you is starting to gear towards more of a indoctrination instead of education? High school chemistry? I'm imagining chemistry's in high school, right?
I don't think they teach
For sure.
chemistry before then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
no, not-
it's at
not
least
before
high
Maybe,
school.
maybe some
Yeah.
like higher up,
yeah.
you
Not
know,
really.
junior highs.
Okay. But you're in Texas too, so there's that. So
Texas is a little different.
But yeah, so I'm glad that that's just a myth, and that they're not allowing
for
people-
No
now.
actual litter
people will do
boxes in
that.
bathrooms, right? Yeah,
because
Tony
I know
Dungy was
the first time I saw it, like it's crazy. It's how your memory like just remembers like images and stuff like that. Because I remember really enjoying my hotel room. It was very like it was a small hotel room, and you could tell that it was like a very old hotel. But they'd done a really good job of modernizing it, making small changes to it to make use of the space.
Right, right.
And so it was like I remember that. I remember liking the hotel room, even though we had to I think there was like 4 of us that had to share the room. Like I was running a booth for a store that I was associated with at the time, and
Then it was probably 8 people in the room. But
I remember. No, we were lucky. We were lucky. There was only 4 of us, and one of them was a woman. So it was like it wasn't a complete sausage fest. So it was, thanks, Rachel.
it's so much better than most of the rooms in that convention, I guarantee.
And yeah, and so what I'm saying, so from that convention, I'll never forget, like walking to my room and at some point, like someone's door was just open, like some other door was open, and there was a cat box in there.
Well, there's a
And I was just and I was just like, I laughed at first And I looked at my buddy, like I think it was Seth, and I was like, "Who the fuck brings their cats?" And he's like, "That's not for cats, dude." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "It's for furry play." And I was like,
Well, I've heard of people
furry
taking
play?
their dogs and stuff with them. I don't know. I've never heard of cats.
No,
but there's
dude,
some
no,
hotels out
no,
there
this
that
is people. This is
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
like dressing up as animals and then acting like animals. Like, yeah. And so, and I remember hearing about it then and being like, God help us. This is where society is going. This is what we're doing. So to be like 10 years later almost and have, to be talking about that tweet from Tony Dungy, that's where my brain goes, and I'm like, no, this is not happening. This is not the progression of that memory that I had.
Well, it's funny because looking back on that conversation, you're not. No, that's not true, is it? Like that's not real. And we're like, okay, no, and now it's not real. But you're like, oh my god, that's real.
Well, I mean, if you've never been to Anime Expo, like I was just once he told me, I was like, okay.
I guess I can see that.
Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness that goes on at Anime.
I need
Expo.
to go to an Anime Expo. Somebody was just like telling me about that. Like,
it's not for adults.
Well, it wasn't for then. There's a lot of adult things going on there.
Yeah, with young kids.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've been to some Magic conventions where I'm like, holy crap, that's what's going on backstage. Like, there's some like, holy crap.
It took me. So, I became a Magic judge in 2014, and I went to my first like major event in like late 2015, I think it was, and experienced the Gypsy Carnival that it really is. Like when you go to a large Magic event, at the time it was Grand Prix is what they were running,
Right.
Grand Prix, and then I feel like there was one other type of large event, but anyway, but that was it. It was like a circuit, right?
Yeah.
And the judges, like the level 2 and beyond judges, if you applied, you basically got accepted every time because there wasn't
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, there were almost never enough of them. So they it was like this like weird cult. It was a very strange experience. I never wanted to go back.
I will say that as much as I love Magic, and I've loved Magic for over 20 years, and I've been to a lot of events, a lot of, pre-release, Grand Prix, GPT, like Pro Tour, I've been to a lot of Magic events. And some of them are kind of strange, man. Like some of the last few not Pro Tours, but the Grand Prix I've been to, it's been a little odd. Like the culture is not.
It's different now.
Yeah,
it's different now.
And I'm not saying it's horrible or bad or anything else. I'm just saying it's like, whoa, it's different.
So it used to be very professional, very almost like upper class.
I can see that. Yeah.
The people that were competing at the highest levels were they were very smart people, very well off people most of the time. They also played Magic, but they had careers, they had day jobs. And in the last 3-4 years, the game has moved more to online. And they've changed a lot of things about how the game works, and it's dramatically changed the player base. And the competitive scene doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how things are going to go in the next few years.
I
I do see what you're saying.
Because to me, it was the way that things appeared to be going was into this sandbox mode, where it just
getting back to the kitty litter.
Because what attracted me to Magic, and at first, like as a like, man, I can't stop playing this game, and I really just want to be competitive in this game all the time, was that it was very much like sports, in that, yeah, things are different every single year, but they're kind of the same because Magic has its 5 colors, and the colors consistently do these different types of things. It's just like, this year red is really good, and this year blue is really good, and
I've always hated blue.
everybody does. It went on that way for a really long time, and like there were so many different combinations of the colors and stuff like that, and the styles and meshing of the styles that made for, you know, iconic decks, and it was a lot of fun. But the thing about it was that it was very seasonal and very competitive, and that like the decks would there'd be a rotation, and then you'd have to find so it's like the beginning of a season, you know, for like football or whatever, and then over the course of the next like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, people figure everything out, and the best 3 to 4 decks rise to the top, you know, and there was, for the longest time, 3 to 4 decks that you could play, and if you were a good enough pilot, you could win a tournament.
Yeah.
And then somewhere around like 2016-ish, they really just said, fuck the color wheel. and just like started giving every color the ability to do everything, and start printing cards that did all of these different functions that they didn't used to be able to do in their colors.
Yeah.
And it just dramatically changed the way that everybody played all these other versions of the game outside of standard, and just kind of, and really started to diminish standard. And then also because they were so fixated on people being able to play all of the spells, they made the mana really easy.
Right.
Like, just, you could play whatever you wanted. There was like we got to a point where it didn't matter. Like, as long, like, all the lands existed for you to be able to build your mana base in a way that you could play basically whatever you wanted.
Yeah,
and so
especially in certain sets. Like if you're,
I'm
more
right now
of a limited player. You're talking unlimited. So
I'm talking
constructed. So
yeah, and so around that time, they really turned off the game to a bunch of the competitive players. Like, people, because they didn't want to show up with the same deck, and that was what happened. Was when you made, because
you want to have something
when
original.
you made what happened was they made the mana too easy, and then everybody was forced to play the same spells because they were
so
the best spells, and you could cast them all because of the mana base.
Yep.
And so I'll never forget showing up to this like 16-man Grand Prix trial. So it was like, this isn't your just like F&M. This is an event that people show up to only because they're competitive and because they want to go play at the next level. And 13 of the 16 decks were the same fucking deck within 4 cards of each other.
Yeah.
Like, there was one, because that's what the game had become.
There's too many seasons of that. Yeah.
Oh, you're playing that card? Well, that was last week's tech. We're playing this card this week. But it's the same other like 36 cards in the deck.
But this one gives me an extra 0.5% advantage.
But this one but you play 3 copies of this card, and it does this thing on turn 2 against your.
Now you have 66% instead of like 58.
And the game never recovered from that. It never went back. They never like cleaned it up and went back to a like defined color wheel. And the game's just been chaos. And so the only way that it's fun to play anymore is limited. And
which is what I play.
Which is ironic. which is ironic because that's how the game started. The game, when the game was created, the guy who created it never had the intention that people were gonna like
collect
multiple sets, build a compilation, like use
Have four
the
very
knowledge
rare.
of everything that was in those 3 sets to build a master deck,
No.
and then play against each other.
You were going to be able to
that
build
was
something out of your 200 cards.
the idea
And your
was
6
that
rares.
you buy
Yeah.
the box of Magic cards and then you go home and play with it.
Yep.
Was the idea for the game when it first started.
And that's what most people did. I mean, I played with 200 card blue deck, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's
And-
what we all did. I had all kinds of Homrids in that deck, and it was awesome.
and boomerangs
Hell yeah. Well, that was the more powerful card. I only had a few of those. But.
and counterspell. I'll boomerang that and I will counter it now. that's how you kill stuff with blue.
The good old days.
But yeah, that was good times. It was good times, and then it became, and then the whole culture just changed. Like, it was a whole thing. So we started. So this is like
We bored everybody.
I'll bring it back
talk.
full. I'll bring it back full circle. Magic is responsible for furries. No, I'm just kidding. No. But the culture did kind of become that way around that.
Did
same
Wadabeezy
time.
or anybody else like stay with us there? Or are they just like,
I have no idea.
Probably
right.
not.
Yeah,
He's got
magic.
He's
What the
probably
F
got
is
papers
that?
to grade.
Yeah,
I think that's a good spot to stop, though.
yeah.
You
We're
know,
probably good, man. We've been
I'm at the end of my
wandering for a while.
That's fine.
yeah.
We could do that offline. So, thanks you guys. We're not gonna be meeting next week, but the week after, the week before the Super Bowl, we'll be meeting
Yep.
again.
Yeah,
and
we
we'll
got to
be
talk
talking
about
this
49ers Bengals.
stuff. Yeah, let's see. Peace out, everybody.
Love you guys.
See ya.